Kendall Ruiz and Isaac Thompson are suing Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, for towing fees and car repairs from an accident.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3025, Maurice Thompson versus Schulte.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Ruiz, this is your boyfriend.
Correct.
How long have you been together with him?
It's been on and off for about...
Like 2.5 years, Your Honor.
And you have a child together?
We do.
How old is that child?
He turned 1 in January.
Do you live together?
We do.
For 2.5 years?
Most of the 2.5 years, correct.
When it wasn't the most, were you living with Miss Schulte?
No.
When were you with Miss Schulte?
3.5 years ago, at least.
When you were with Miss Schulte, were you living with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have any children together?
1.
How old?
He will be 4 in August.
Do you see him?
Every week, or every other week.
That going okay?
Yep.
Yep, it's not an answer.
Sorry,
yes,
yes,
it's an
Your
answer. Very good. Okay, now, when you were with her 3.5 years ago, you had a car.
Yes.
And that car was a 2016 Jeep Renegade.
Correct, Your Honor.
In whose name was that car?
The vehicle is in mine and Kendall's name.
When was it put in your name and Kendall's name?
At the time of purchase, it was...
2021.
Yes, it was...
May I have it, please? Thank you. Okay, so it was purchased by the two of you April 6, 2021.
Correct, Your Honor.
And at that time, you two were together.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then there came a time when you had a breakup.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was that?
It was around December of 2021.
And where did you go?
I went back to move in with my parents.
Did you take the Jeep with you?
I did.
Did you have another car, Miss Ruiz?
I actually drove the Jeep for a while until...
No, he said he took the car and went back to his parents. That was in December of 2021. What I'm asking you is, in December of 2021, did you have another car?
I got a new vehicle, yes.
In December of 2021, when he left. So it was agreed between the two of you that he would take the car, even though it was in both your names?
Yes.
Okay. Who was making payments on the car?
I was, Your Honor.
So that was the agreement. He would take the car, he would make the payments, you would get another car.
Yes.
Great. And then you moved back with your parents. Now tell me how Miss Schulte, with whom you have a child, got possession of the Jeep.
So at the time, I was not able to afford the vehicle.
Okay, so you took it, but you had payments. What were the monthly payments?
I believe they were $367.
So how did it come into Miss Schulte's possession?
I did not need the vehicle, as I had another car at the time, and she was in need of a new vehicle. So I offered her the deal that if she were able to put the vehicle in her name and keep insurance on it, that she was able to have the vehicle, but she did not follow any of the rules for the
Well,
agreement.
she can't register the car in her name, sir, because there's a loan out on the car.
Right, but...
And they're not going to allow somebody off the hook. That would be the two of you who are on that loan.
Right.
Right? They're not going to allow the two of you off the hook and just have her on the hook. The loan, as between the loan company and the two of you, she's nobody.
Right.
So she can't register the car in her name unless she pays it off.
That was the idea behind the agreement, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know what the idea was. You mean the idea was that she make the monthly payments?
Yeah, she was to continue making the monthly payment.
That's okay. She can make the monthly payment. She still can't register it in her name as the owner because there's a lien on the car by the people who gave you the money to buy it.
Correct.
So she can't register because there's a lien on it, on your title. Do you have your title?
I do.
And I want you just to look at your title and tell me what it says under lien holder.
It says the bank that has the title to the vehicle.
Right. And they actually hold the title. She can't register it in her name. So in effect, what you said to her was you can use the car as long as you make the payments.
Correct.
Because I can't make the payments anymore. Okay. And then you went back to Miss Ruiz.
Correct.
Okay. And when did you go back to Miss Ruiz? Month. This was in
January of 2022.
So a month later.
Yes.
Now, your agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
She has used this car as long as she made the payments.
And had insurance on the vehicle.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
Late.
Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
What happened in April?
And Isaac Thompson claim Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, owes for towing fees and vehicle repairs from an accident.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
How long did you have the car?
Until April.
Did you make March's payment?
I did.
Do you have proof of that?
Well, I have 3 payments, so January, February, March.
Yes. The answer, I don't have to see them. I believe she has them. So she paid January, February, March. What happened in April?
She was not making the payments. There was still...
She made January, February, and March. Now we're in April.
Yes, she did not make the payment. We did not get the Jeep back until May 3rd.
Just a second. What happened in April? Did you ask for the Jeep back?
I was asking for the vehicle back shortly after giving it to her because she wasn't holding up her end of the agreement.
What was her end of the agreement? I just told you she couldn't register it in her name because she doesn't have title, neither do you.
I understand that.
Right.
The agreement was that she was supposed to continue to make the monthly payments and she was supposed to put insurance on the vehicle. She was not making the payments on time and she did not have insurance on the vehicle.
No, but she made the payments. She made January, February, and March.
Late,
now,
which affected my credit.
Well, that's too bad. That wasn't your agreement. Your agreement was that she was to make payments. There was nothing you agreed that she had to make the payments on time. I assume that your girlfriend, Miss Ruiz, did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car that was titled partially in her name. I want you to answer that question. Sir, it's a very easy question. You don't have to be a soothsayer and you don't have to have an advanced degree in psychology to know that your current girlfriend and the mother of your child, of your new baby, doesn't like the fact that you gave a car that's in her name to your old girlfriend with who you have a child. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out, right?
You're right.
Oh, right. So old girlfriend didn't like the agreement, but you had made an agreement with her. Now, did you have insurance on the car and was that part of your agreement? Don't look up at the sky, look right here.
It was, yes.
Yes. Did you have insurance on the car?
Insurance was on it for a little bit, but then I was trying to find a new insurance company.
So the answer is no.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he had every right, despite the fact that you made the payments, to get the car back. Because if something happened to that car and you were driving it and it didn't have insurance because you were trying to find different insurance, because actually you have no liability on this thing. If you have an accident, they're going to go after the owners of the car if you have nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, that was your deal, and you breached the deal. So now he asked for the car back because you didn't have insurance on it. You may have made the payments, but you didn't have insurance on it. And you asked for the car back in April.
I asked for the car back numerous times.
I don't care whether you asked for the car back numerous times. You had no right to ask for it back until you knew she had no insurance. The reason you asked for it back is because Miss Ruiz didn't like the fact that Miss Schulte had a car.
That is not correct, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, I did not have a problem with her having the vehicle because I didn't want to have it anymore. I got my own vehicle. I was not upset at the fact that she had it. They do have a child together, and I do know that she needs a vehicle to get their child around.
Are you telling me, Miss Ruiz, that it didn't bother you that your name was on the title, and therefore you were responsible for that car? And that car was being driven by Miss Schulte?
Correct.
Right. Well, just a second. If the car was just in his name, he can give it to whoever he likes. But it had your name on it.
Yes.
That's psychology 101. She had the car. You have a certain responsibility. You work.
I'm actually a 24-hour caregiver for our son. He has a disability.
Okay. So your lawsuit is when you got the car back, it was damaged.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you have an accident with the car?
Yes.
When?
April 25th.
Did you fix the car?
I was going to. I was having somebody...
The question is, did you fix the car?
No, I didn't.
And at that time, you had no insurance on it because your insurance had lapsed.
Yeah.
Do you have a photograph of the car?
I have the police report as well.
I'd like to see and the photograph of the car. I'll look at the police report. And
there's
just show it
attached to
Does the yellow form show the mileage? They bought it 2021.
I think so. Yeah, take a look. So ultimately, you were told that they were going to report the vehicle stolen unless you returned it. That's what the police report says.
He told me after.
Just a second. Well, you told the police the accident happened in May, on May 3rd. Schulte, police then asked you about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3/2022 near 1500 block of Grenada North. We asked if you contacted the police. She said she did. Schulte said she struck another woman's vehicle and they both pulled over. Police officer indicates, I felt Schulte was being deceptive when I asked her if she called the police about the accident. And I don't think there's any other police report. Did you file a police report about this accident on May 3rd?
I'm guessing.
Is not an answer.
I'm guessing that is the day that they called the cops to get the actual vehicle after the accident.
I asked Schulte about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3. That's what the police report says. Oh. You know, there's a saying, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. You were involved in an accident. The damage was to the front end of the car. You hit another woman's car. Is that right? That's what you told the police. That's what you told the police. Whatever it is, you're responsible for the damage. She's responsible for the damage. Oh, yeah. It's mostly to the bumper, right?
There was a lot of underlying damage making the vehicle undrivable. There was damage to the transmission and some problems with the oil after.
That's all right. I'm going to take a look at the estimate. I'm going to take a look at the estimate, then I'm going to ask you a question. Mr. Thompson. Take a look and see what
The car?
Yeah.
I'm using an 80,000 mile valuation. I don't know how many miles were on it. It wasn't on the form, but it's 10 to 12,000 for a trade-in value based on the 80,000 mile valuation on it in good condition.
Now, you signed an agreement with your lender that until this car is paid off, that you would maintain insurance on it.
Correct.
Did you?
I did not. I took insurance.
Shh.
Isaac Thompson are accusing Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, of damaging their car in an accident.
Now, you signed an agreement with your lender that until this car is paid off, that you would maintain insurance on it.
Correct.
Did you?
I did not. I took insurance.
Shh. You signed an agreement with a bank that you would keep insurance on this car because the car really belonged to them until it was paid off.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right?
Yes.
And you did not.
Correct.
When was the last time you made a payment on the car?
The 21st of last month.
The car has been with you since when?
May 3rd of 22.
So a year.
Correct.
And is what you're telling me that you're current in your payments, but you can't drive the car?
Correct, Your Honor.
Where is it currently located?
At my parents' house. It is sitting in the driveway at my parents'.
Mr. Thompson, is what you're telling me that you relied on her statement that she had insurance on this car, which is why you dropped the insurance?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and you know that you're not allowed to do that?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So to fix your car is going to cost you, according to this estimate, $6,000.
Correct, Your Honor.
How much do you think of that as your responsibility?
Realistically, none of it.
No, legally. How much? If you stopped making payments on the car a year ago, who do you think the bank would come after?
They would come after me.
Because she had nothing to do with the bank.
Correct.
Because their contract was with you. They say to you, we're giving you this money. In return for that, you have to keep this vehicle insured so that we're guaranteed to get our money back, right? And you failed to do that.
Yes.
You can't do that. That's going to cost you $3,000 because you have a responsibility. It's going to cost you $3,000 because you breached your agreement with him. He breached his agreement with the bank. You breached your agreement with him. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your responsibility was to maintain insurance on the car pursuant to your agreement, and he had a written contract with the bank to maintain insurance. Did you ever ask her, by the way, to show you proof of insurance?
I did on a few occasions, yes. And she would tell me that there is insurance on the car, but not actually show me anything proving that there was insurance on the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. And you asked her for proof of insurance?
And I asked...
Just a second. And you asked her for proof of insurance, and she wouldn't show it to you?
Correct.
Often?
Yes.
And you didn't take the car back then?
I tried numerous times. She refused to give it to me.
Oh, yeah, I don't believe that. $3,000 judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished here.
This court is adjourned.
I don't think that I should have paid anything at all.
I think it was not correct.
I guess lesson learned from not trying to help people out, right?
It's a little upsetting. I think she's definitely 100% in the wrong. She lied to us numerous times.
Honestly, it was just like a moment where people stop and you just get so busy looking around and you have an accident.
She crashed our vehicle. It's inoperable, and she told us multiple times she would pay and fix the damage.
And now here we are responsible for having to pay for it.
No, it was totally fine after I had gotten to the accident, so I'm not really sure where that information's coming from.
It is not
was
drivable.
not-
It hasn't
does
been
not
driven
work.
over a year
Guess what can you do, right?
because she refused to give it back.
He actually didn't tell me anything about that until after he filed their police report,
One of the text messages, she said, I can't give it back.
so I know nothing about like him wanting the vehicle back until after that conversation.
It's upsetting how it turned out.
I'm never going to help him out ever again.
Worry about my own self.
You know, this isn't the first of these kind of things that we've had. The story may be different, but the people have to take away that if you have a contract with a bank, with a landlord, with a mortgage company, the mortgage company is not going to accept the fact, well, I found Joe Schmo to take over my payments, so I'm absolved of that responsibility. As between you and the company, you have a responsibility. I think it's actually very interesting, and I'm not so sure true, if they've been making the payments on this car and it's been undrivable for almost a year, or actually for a year. It's absolutely the wrong thing to do to turn a vehicle that you have a responsibility for contractually, because there's a loan, to anybody else. And if you do so, and you know, because she had to maintain insurance and put it in her name, well, you can't put it in your name because the bank owns that car.
I think that's a great analogy with the mortgage company as well. You know, you sublease a room to a friend and you make your own agreement with them, but the background check, the credit check that the company, the mortgage,
you mean a lessee,
or the lessee are going to use doesn't apply to that third party that you deem acceptable. So yeah, I agree that.
So you'll always be responsible for the rent unless the landlord decides to allow you to sublet without permission.
That's their agreement with
That's
the third
their
party,
agreement,
not
right?
yours.
This was not the bank's agreement with
the defendant.
Right.
Stewart is suing fellow motorist Derek DeWitt for the cost of a broken car window and emotional distress.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3040, Stewart versus DeWitt.
Thank you. Wife?
No.
Girlfriend?
Yes,
Were you in the car that day?
I was.
Great. Did you go crazy?
Well, it was my brand new car, so yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he was driving your car?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Stewart, you are suing the defendant because it is your claim that he smashed your car window during what is an incident of road rage, a little bit on both sides, perhaps. Why don't you tell me when this happened?
So it was Halloween of last year.
What time?
I believe around 5:30-ish.
Tell me where you were.
I was at the Costco parking lot is when it started, and it ended basically on the street just outside of the parking lot.
Okay, so is this a visual of where the incident occurred?
Correct.
Just so I get an overall picture before you start your testimony, would you approach the map and show me where you first connected with the defendant?
Here, actually. This is just at the exit of the parking lot.
You're both waiting to exit the parking lot.
Correct.
And where were you positioned as opposed to the defendant? Were you in front of him or behind him?
In the parking lot, I was in front of him.
And then what happened?
He goes around me to get in front of me and honks at me. We both end up at a red light.
So he went around you?
Correct.
Were you doing something that delayed you from exiting the parking lot?
No, I was not slowing at all. I was going the 15 miles an hour.
So he just scooted around you?
Correct.
Is that right, sir?
No, ma'am. The incident started at the stoplight.
He says that something happened, there was some interaction as you were both leaving the Costco parking lot. And I have to believe that, sir, because you were both leaving the Costco parking lot.
Correct.
And if you didn't notice him for some reason, I don't know why, but he noticed you. So there's a lot of cars here in traffic. So it would be too serendipitous for me to have to assume that he's making that up, that he didn't see you exiting the Costco parking lot.
Ma'am, that might have very well been the case. I did not realize or notice his car until we got tapped at the intersection.
Okay. Now you're both outside. And who was first?
His car is in front of mine.
Okay. And that's at the stoplight.
Yes.
And the light changes color.
Correct.
And he did not move.
Correct.
So now tell me what you did.
Sure. So I honked at him. I inched closer to him, hoping that he would see me. And then I had a collision with his car, like a fender bender.
Then you hit his car.
Correct.
Okay, now you can go back. Thank you. Okay, so now you hit the bumper of his car. So far, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do next?
I slightly reversed so that I wouldn't be near his car. What I did next was I stayed in my car. I saw him and his passenger get out. I didn't leave my car because I didn't want to get out in the intersection. And then the passenger took a photo of my car, the front. He approached my car. Frankly, he was staring me down.
He was what?
Staring me down like this. And I did not feel safe, so I rolled up my window. He banged on it at that point, so I decided that I was going to, I didn't feel comfortable having him near me, so I decided to reverse.
How do you reverse if there are cars behind you?
Those cars began to go around everything and U-turn.
Okay.
I was going to go in the parking lot, And as I reversed to go back into the Costco parking lot, he, again staring me down this whole time, went into the street to block my way. And he had his phone in his hand, but he was searching for something in his pockets. At that moment, I decided that I was going to leave because he was not interested in taking a photo of my car. He was looking for something, and he was staring me down this whole time.
Well, usually when you have an accident, Mr. Stewart, and this was either an accident or an on purpose that you hit his car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, because his car was standing still. You had already had, according to you, an aggressive interchange with him when he exited the parking lot. And what would seem logical is that if he honked you as he was moving out, and then he got in front of you, and the light changed and he didn't go, in your mind, you might say, well, he's going to wait until the light turns yellow and then he's going to turn because I was evidently holding him up at the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Did that go through your mind?
I did believe that he was trying to punish me in some way.
You did believe?
Yes, I did.
Of course. Go around me, you honk the horn, now you're in front of me, we're both going to make a turn, and you're going to inconvenience me because it's a tit for tat. But the reaction to that isn't to hit his car.
I had no intention of hitting his car.
Well, but you did. His car was standing still, and you were inching towards him. If you were inching towards him at some point, what kind of car were you driving?
A Tesla Model S.
A Tesla. What year?
2022.
Okay, so you know that that has those bing, 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 bing if you get too close to a car, right? So your car is bing, 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 and all of a sudden it's going bing because you're really close. So you know all of that. So this is hardly an accident. You hit his car more of an on purpose. You may not have intended to do damage, but you hit his car. Whether negligently or on purpose, the first thing that you do when you have an accident is you get out of your car and you exchange information, because I don't know if your car was damaged. I assume his car was damaged because your insurance company settled with him for the damage, which means your insurance found that you were at fault, at least with regard to the damage.
Yes.
But the first thing that you do is you exchange information. Now, it's a road rage situation, so I can sort of understand why, having just hit him, sort of on purpose, and he getting out of the car, you would feel slightly intimidated. Did you take a picture of his car?
I did.
And you have a picture of his license plate?
Yes.
So what you do after that, you call the police and say, there's just been a hit and run. He hit my car. He took off. I have his license plate. Can you run it for me and find out who he is? And they go and they'll find him and they'll arrest him for 12 hours or something till he gives them his insurance information. In any event, now you pull up your window and proceed to take off, and he blocks your way. And then what happened?
So whatever he was looking for in his pockets, he found, because as I was driving around him, I hear a ping on my car, very loud.
Where?
In the back driver's side.
And then what happened?
So I'm in full flight mode at this point and not thinking about really what to do. So I do what I was going to do, which is a U-turn. That puts me back in his path because he goes into the oncoming traffic and stops it. That's the blue, yes. And so he stops the traffic. And again, I'm just driving forward, so I don't see this happen. But as I'm driving past him, my driver's side window shatters. And you can't really see out of it at this point because it's just a spider web. I leave and later get a phone call from the police. They tell me that Mr. DeWitt had called them and they want me to come back to the scene. And frankly, I refused because I was too scared. I didn't want to be in the presence of Mr. DeWitt
Well,
again.
just a second. Police called you and gave you a direction to return to the scene, and they're there at the scene. So what did you do? You just ignored them?
No, I told them that I didn't want to, and they agreed to have the officer come back to where I was. I didn't feel safe.
Well, that's ridiculous.
His fellow motorist, Derek DeWitt, broke his Tesla window during a road rage incident and caused him emotional distress.
Now, I don't buy that you didn't feel safe, sir. You may not have felt safe if he told you to come back to the scene, but if police officers are on scene and they tell you, please come back to the scene, then that's what you do. You come back to the scene.
The officer did come visit me, and he told me...
You can't tell me what he told you. That's hearsay. You have a police report, I'll look at it.
Yeah, I do have a police report.
I'd like to look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so I see the police report, and the police report is relatively consistent with what you testified to today. The police report refers to a video, which I assume that the police officer watched. Is that correct?
I showed it to him.
After the taking information, the police officer determined that there was felony vandalism, with regard to breaking his car window. I know that you're going to have a different story for me, I assume.
Okay.
Well, he has a video of exactly what happened. So now I would like you to tell me your version of what happened. You're standing at the red light, and would you go over to the map and show me where
Yes,
you were?
ma'am. Okay. We were sitting first car here in the turn lane. He was behind us. We felt a tap. We were trying to, so we had a Halloween party to go to. So she had a new car, and you can't put an address into the navigation system unless it's in park. So we put it in park, and we were putting in the address. Apparently the light turned green. We heard him honk. I waved.
It's all becoming clearer.
Yes.
Okay, so you know you were going to a Halloween party. You were in Costco. I assume you were shopping in Costco?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but going to the Halloween party wasn't a surprise.
No, ma'am.
That's where you were going. So
Yes, ma'am.
we could have put the address of where you were going in at the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you didn't do that. Now you're at a light with cars behind you. You had to put the car in park. Are you reading him the address?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you stand up for 1 second? I'm just interested. Did you suggest to him that he put the address in the parking lot?
We didn't think about it at the moment, at that time.
Well, you see, I would have said to my husband, you are here in the parking lot. Let's put the address in the parking lot, which he would have said, don't tell me what to do. When we're out of the parking lot, I'll put it in. Well, that's sort of ridiculous because now you're annoying other people because everybody's looking to make a left turn. Your car is in park and you're doing something else. I'm not excusing the fact that he hit your car at all because it was aggressive, but it's frustrating. Everybody who's been behind a car that's doing something else, contacting their boyfriend or their girlfriend or sending a text message or looking for something in their pocketbook is annoying. It's not being a good citizen. It's being selfish. It's just not right. Now, so you're doing something that's not right. You get tapped, and what happened?
So I told her, hey, we just got hit. We both exited the car. We walked around back, and she had her cell phone on her. I did not have my cell phone. I told her, and he started backing up. Immediately, as soon as we got to the back of the car, he was backing up, so much as it made the person behind him reverse so that he didn't hit them. He started backing up. I told her, take a picture of his car. He's trying to run. So she takes a picture, and then I said, put it on video. She puts her camera onto video and hits record, handed me the phone. I didn't point the camera. I wasn't trying to be a photographer. I walked over to the side of his car, and he's backing up. Now, the car behind him is trying to get out of his way.
You can stand there. You can have a seat. Go back.
So when I walked up to his car, I knocked on the window, and it's his testimony that I was staring him down and that I was aggressive and that he was scared.
You know, I'm sure you weren't happy with him.
So,
and
so he just started backing up. But cars coming down the road, he got gridlocked. He couldn't get into the Costco parking lot. So he came up. May I approach the map again, Your Honor? Mm-hmm. He came up past me, went between these two cars, and then made a U-turn. This is where I walked across the median to stop him. He then swerved at me. You could tell the safety features in the Tesla apply to brake and swerve to the right. He then overrode that and swerved back at me, trying to hit me in the car, in the road, and that's when everything took place.
Okay, so this is what the case is about. He wants you to pay the damage for his window and punitive damages for emotional distress, which I'm dismissing right now, Mr. Stewart, because you caused your own emotional distress. Whatever emotional distress you had, that was on you. So how much did it cost to fix your window? So I know a realistic figure, because this $10,000 isn't flying.
So the actual cost of the window was $617.86.
Okay, and how much did your insurance company pay to fix their car?
$619.45.
Okay, before we proceed to look at these videos, because now what we're talking about is we're talking about $617 rather than $10,000. But from reading the papers, Mr. DeWitt, you suffered a broken hand.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to your papers, at least, you suffered a broken hand because he hit you with his car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sue him for hitting you with his car?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Never sued anyone. Probably will never sue anyone.
Well, that's
Sorry,
not,
but
well, if somebody swerved their car and broke my hand, I guarantee you I would find the best tort lawyer in whatever jurisdiction I was in and sue their pants off.
I felt he was trying to injure me. I would have handled it in a different manner.
Well, according to your testimony, Mr. DeWitt, he was trying to injure you. You said he overrode his Tesla to try to swerve right into you. Well, that's trying to injure you. There's no question about that. But I'm going to take a look now because your statement is that he purposely shattered your window with something, and it's your suggestion, at least, that that's how he broke his hand.
Correct.
And he said, no, he broke his hand when you swerved. I read his papers. When you swerved and you hit him with the rear view mirror of your car, correct?
Yes.
Let's take a look. Is this your video?
Yes, this is the dash cam video.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Right, so,
Shh.
Sorry.
Not a so. So he's got keys out in one hand. It looks like a phone in the other. Now he's going across to where you're coming around. He crosses the little median. Oh, no, the car doesn't hit you, Mr. DeWitt. You threw something at it.
When he does the U-turn.
Okay, we're going to see more, but you do realize that you did throw something at his car.
So that was where he hit my side of my hand when he was coming past. So
I don't see that. Just a second. I don't see that. So let's look at it again. Is this when you claim that he hit you?
Yes.
I don't think so. Does that sound about...
Christopher Stewart has accused fellow motorist Derek DeWitt of breaking his car window and causing him emotional distress. Derek claims Christopher tried to hit him with his Tesla.
Okay, so, Mr. DeWitt, this is my last question to you, sir. Now, you know that your girlfriend, who owns the car, has taken a photograph of his license plate.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're an intelligent guy, so ultimately you did what you could have done, which was just stay put, avoid any more confrontation, call the police as you did. They reached out to him, got his story. You stay in your car with your girlfriend, and you're safe because you don't know whether he's a nut or not. Certainly his conduct was a little bit nutty that day. So I would have stayed in the car. Now, I want to, yes, the answer is yes. Now, your girlfriend, just curious, at any time did she say to you, just get back in the car?
No, ma'am. She did return to the car herself.
Yes, but didn't say to you, get back in the car?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Sorry. Yeah, I just assumed that all parties were going to stop and exchange information, so I went back.
Yeah, but then you must have watched there was a lot of action going on out there. You had to have been watching him.
I didn't see the specific incident when he went on the other side of the...
You didn't see him go across?
No, because I went into the car to get, like I said, it was a brand new car. I didn't even have the full registration information, all that, so I was getting the temporary information out of the car. So I was focused on getting paperwork and things out of the car.
Well, when was the next thing you saw?
When he was coming back across towards my car from the other side of the median.
Okay. And did you call the police?
We then pulled over and called the police.
Who called the police?
He called the police.
Okay.
I had her phone in my hand, so I called the police.
You called 911?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall what he said when he called 911?
Well, he reported that we were hit and that the person fled the scene.
So he said, we were hit. You're talking about the car?
Yes.
And then you waited for the police?
Yes, and then an officer
arrived. Does that sound about right, that you said we were hit, referring to the car, and the person who hit us fled the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't say I was hit.
Your Honor, I do remember when the officer showed up, we talked about it, and I did have an injured hand, and I told him when he came around that I had been hit by the car and that he purposely swerved towards me to hit me.
Your Honor, he also told my insurance.
May I see that, please?
I think you can probably sit.
Oh, well, this is from the insurance carrier because you did, in fact, claim the injury to your hand as a result of being hit. The insurance company paid for the damage on your car, but said, according to the information available and footage, the injuries occurred because Derek DeWitt punched the window of your 2021 Tesla Model S. Based on these facts, we've denied liability and bodily injury claim, which clearly you put in and it's been closed. So that's what happened. Okay. So the answer is, Mr. DeWitt, you have to pay for his window, $617. I don't have to get into, Mr. Stewart, my judgment as to whether or not you were acting appropriately that day. You were not. You hit his car on purpose, tapped it. He was irritating. He was being irresponsible along with his girlfriend by being in a traffic lane and deciding to use that time to plug in an address that they should have done 2 minutes before in a Costco parking lot. But that's what the world has become. Nobody thinks about anybody else these days. You may have gotten frustrated, but that doesn't give you license to hit his car. I don't think that you hit him. I think that he smashed your car window, and that's the best that I can see from the video that I saw. So he has to pay you the $617. I'm also really concerned about your reaction to the whole thing, and I really don't understand it. How much after the incident did the police finally contact you, and did they do that visually, or did they do that on the phone?
I was contacted first by them by the phone.
At home?
No. This was minutes afterwards.
Okay.
After the incident.
And you didn't go back to the scene, you went home?
No, I went to get my child. I was picking him up from daycare. Honestly, I didn't know what else to do.
All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $617. We're finished here. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I honor the judge. She's a wonderful person, and I've watched the TV show for a long time, so her ruling is her ruling.
She believed that I intentionally hit him.
He's got a fight or flight mentality, and his is to flight, and mine is not.
I intentionally got close to him, hoping that he would move, but I did not intentionally hit him.
He overrode his safety features on his car and intentionally damaged my brand new car, and then tried to flee the scene.
The way that he was looking at me while I was trying to just reverse, like, I wasn't trying to flee the scene at that time. I was just trying to get out of the street.
There's a lot of things if you look at hindsight and change.
I guess I won in the end, but the whole thing wasn't worth it.
Just a couple of observations. There's a certain lack of respect for just your fellow human beings. Who cares? So he's behind me, so it'll be another light.
It just makes me think of, my saying, your poor planning is not my problem.
Yes.
So just because you didn't think to put in the address in the parking lot where you're already in parked, why does it have to become my problem that now I'm stuck at a green light trying to make a left? I'm going to be late for my event, for wherever I'm going.
Picking up my kid from school.
Just try and plan a little bit better to not make it everybody else's problem.
And then getting frustrated, and really, it had to be purposefully tapping his bumper, and then turning around, trying to evade giving his information. What I think is most compelling about the plaintiff, and he was entitled to his smashed window, the police told him to come back to the scene. He said no.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
I don't know how anyone could come here looking for any amount, but especially $10,000 when you ignored a direct order from a police officer.
Anyway, I know this sounds terribly sexist, and don't write letters or anything. I'm not interested in it. But most road rage cases, most that I've tried, have been men. Now, why is that? I think it's somehow related to testosterone. I don't know. I have to do a scientific evaluation about that.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv. Tanaya Fox is suing her ex-boyfriend, Keontae Williams, for destroying her car after being involved in a shootout.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3019, Fox versus Williams.
Thank you. Welcome. All right, Miss Fox, this used to be your boyfriend.
Yes.
From when to when was he your boyfriend?
We started dating in 9th grade, beginning of our freshman year, till we stopped talking right after this accident happened, so about January.
Okay, can we have dates, please?
January in 2023, we stopped talking.
How old are you now?
18.
How old were you when you started dating him?
14.
Okay. Did you ever live together? At your house, at his house? Did you ever live together?
Not technically, but
Not technically. I'm dealing with reality. In reality, did you ever live together?
No.
Did he ever stay at your house? Did you ever stay at his house?
No. But we was together all the time, a lot.
What does that mean?
Like, we didn't live together, but we was always with each other.
Where?
At his house.
Better. Were you together at his house while you were still in high school?
Yes.
Is that your mother?
Yes.
Did you have your mother's permission
Yes.
to stay at his house? Is that right?
Yes.
Great. How old were you when you started staying at his house?
17.
So you were there for a little while before this incident occurred. Now, you had a car. What kind of car?
Malibu,
What year?
2016.
When did you purchase it?
I don't remember the exact date, but the month was in January. Before the accident happened, I only had it for 2 weeks.
Was there a note on the car?
Yes.
Do you have insurance on this car? You had to have insurance on the car.
Yes.
Full coverage.
Yes.
This is what you're claiming. You're claiming that you were at his house and he asked to borrow your car. You said no. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that you said no. So let's move on from there because it's not particularly relevant, but the car was involved in an incident. And you want him to be responsible because you say it was his fault that this incident occurred. He said it's not his fault at all. He borrowed the car. He didn't borrow the car to go and buy or negotiate for drugs at all, but he was just driving somewhere and he got in the crossfire of a shootout and the car was bullet-ridden and destroyed.
Correct.
Now, you're at your house, and this is in January or February?
January.
January what?
21st.
What time? Uncross your arms. What time did you take the car?
Around 8, 9 o'clock.
At night?
Yes.
Before you took the car, where were you? Were you in the kitchen, the bedroom? What room were you in?
In the bedroom.
What was she doing?
In the bedroom with me.
Doing what?
Laying down, watching TV.
Had you had dinner at your mother's house? This is your mother, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Had you had dinner at your mother's house?
No.
Where had you had dinner? It's between 8 and 9 o'clock. Everybody's eaten. Even, well, old people eat at 4:30 in the afternoon, but even people your age have finished with dinner by 8, 9 o'clock. Where did you have dinner?
In the house. I don't eat much, so I don't know.
Well, you have to eat. You had nothing to eat?
No.
Nothing. Okay. So now I want you to tell me what inspired you to go out at between 8 and 9 o'clock. Don't look down. Right
I went out to buy weed for us to smoke.
here. Okay. Is that where you told her you were going?
Yes.
She say okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right. Where'd you get the money from?
Myself.
From where?
Working.
Okay, so you took the car to go and get some weed for the two of you. Is purchasing marijuana legal where you live?
No, ma'am.
So you have to go to not a dispensary or something where it's legal. You have to go and buy it on the street?
Correct.
How much money were you going to spend on marijuana?
Like $60.
What?
60.
So tell me what happened. So now you're going to find somebody on the street. Did you make arrangements with them before you went?
Yeah.
Did you call somebody and say, I'll meet you, on...
Yeah, I called somebody and I went to go meet up with them.
And you got into the car.
I got into the car. As I'm going to get the weed, I got it.
So you picked it up?
Yes.
And you gave the seller the $60?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And then what happened?
As I'm pulling off out of the complex, a shootout broke out. And
What complex?
It's a complex behind the YMCA.
Go ahead.
And I put my head down once I heard the bullets hit the car, and I was driving straight. I hit the curb. The car stopped. It didn't move.
Did you give the guy the money?
Yes.
So it wasn't the guy that you bought from. It was somebody else? You don't know. So you put your head down and crashed the car?
Yes.
What did you crash into?
The sidewalk.
Okay, you have pictures of the car? Car was impounded, I assume.
I do.
I'd like to see it. Oh, it's pretty disastrous. Now you had full insurance on this car.
Yes.
And you had only had the car 2 weeks.
Yes.
So did they total the car?
The insurance people?
Yeah.
No, I had tried to put in a claim for them to get it fixed, but they denied it. The police totaled it and put it inside the pound.
I didn't understand a word that you said, so keep your voice up and speak slowly.
The police put it inside the pound, but the insurance people, they just denied my claim that I put in for it to get it fixed.
Why?
They said that because the keys was in the engine, that it was technically my fault. Like, my fault. I have the denial letter.
I'd like to see it. You know who shot it?
Claims her ex-boyfriend, Keontae Williams, took her car without permission and destroyed it. Keontae is countersuing Tanaya for stealing money from his Cash App account.
Where's the car now?
It's still inside the shop.
No, I actually don't understand this. When was the last time you made a payment on the car? Tell me when the last time is you made a payment on the car.
This month. On
Show me. Did you report the car stolen?
Yes. I have a police report.
I'd like to see it.
I actually think he's with those papers.
Oh, here it is. Just a second. This is a report of stuff. First of all, he didn't steal the car. He took the car with your permission. There's no question in my mind that living together, he went out to get you some weed with your permission. It was 8, 9 o'clock at night. There's no way that you said to him, no, you can't take it, and he took it anyway. It just doesn't make sense for a 17-year-old and an 18. That doesn't make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Who decided to say that the car was stolen and tell that to the police? Who thought that that was a good idea?
Me, because it was. I didn't give him permission. I actually told him to take his mother's truck, and he's told me no.
Okay. Have you driven her car before?
Yes.
How many times?
A lot.
How much? More than 20 times? Yeah, sure. So I don't believe you. Now, the problem with you reporting the car stolen is that they didn't find that the car was stolen. They found the keys in the car. They found no evidence of the car being stolen. So they said the car wasn't stolen, the keys in the car. That means somebody had permission. That's still not a reason for an insurance company to deny a claim if you had full coverage on the car. So I would say that you're suing the wrong person. He's not going to pay for the car. He's not paying for the car.
Your Honor, I have evidence that he actually went out to go sell marijuana. He wasn't buying it. I actually have a text message because we know who shot at the car. It's actually his cousin. I text.
Oh, just a second. Do you know who shot at the car?
No.
I have messages of me texting the person and telling them.
I'd like to see it. So you know who shot at the car? Madam, you know who shot at the car, is my question.
Yes.
Then sue them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also have messages of me telling him how much my car is to get repaired, and he's telling me that he's only going to give me what I put down on my car.
Let me explain something to you. I'm not giving anything against him. If you know who caused this accident, who shot your car, which is what you say, you
Yeah,
have to
but
sue him.
I'm suing him because he took it without my permission.
I don't believe, and I'm telling you that I don't believe that. I'm telling you that I don't believe that. So I'm telling you to sue the person who caused the accident. That's what you have to do, not him. I don't believe he didn't have permission. There's no question if you lived at his mother's house with him, he's driven your Chevy Malibu dozens and dozens of times. So I don't believe that he didn't have permission.
He took it out permission more than one time in life.
Sue the person who shot up your car and caused this accident. You say you know who
My
it
car
is.
would never been inside an accident if he didn't take it out my permission.
Do you understand what I just said to you?
Yes, I do.
I said I don't believe you. Sue the person who shot up your car and caused the accident. You know who they are. File a police report against them. How's that? Is the person who shot up her car a regular selling drugs?
Not that I know of.
That person was there the night that you were there allegedly purchasing drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is that the person who shot at your car?
I don't know who shot at the car, ma'am.
She knows. Did he tell you who shot at his car?
Yes.
See, I believe that.
No.
You know who shot at the car?
No, ma'am.
Do you know what cousin she's talking about?
Absolutely not.
First name? You know that person? You know that person?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, so your case against him, for that is dismissed. He got a counterclaim, taking money out of her. Did you take money out of his Cash App?
No.
Show me proof she took your money out of Cash App.
Well, I don't have any proof, but she have took over my whole email.
Just a second.
She never gave my email.
Just a second. I said, show me proof she took money out of your Cash App, is what you said to me. I don't have any proof?
I don't have any proof that she took it out, but I have proof that I gave her money.
I don't care whether you gave her money or not.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
I didn't ask you anything. He has a counterclaim that you took $600 out of his Cash App without permission after this incident occurred. He says he has no proof. His counterclaim's dismissed, as is your claim. Now I'm going to do the second half of this case. You sit down over there, you move over there, and you're the mother. You're his mother. You move over here. Perfect.
Sit down.
Call the next case.
Case number 3019, Williams versus Fox.
Yeah. Did you swear, Ms. Williams? Kevin?
Raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth in these matters today?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. What you're asking for.
Ella Williams is suing her son's ex-girlfriend, Tanaya Fox, for vandalizing her truck.
Ms. Williams, you are the mother of the defendant in the last case, and
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
your claim that the defendant vandalized your 20-year-old truck.
Yes.
First, tell me when you purchased this truck.
I purchased this truck in June of 2020. I had it about 3 years.
Who did you purchase it from?
I actually purchased it from my uncle.
At the time of purchase, you had to register the car?
Yes, ma'am.
How many miles on the car when you registered it?
125,000.
That was 3 years ago.
Yes.
And how much did you pay your uncle for the car?
I gave him $5,000 for the car, the pickup.
You give him $5,000 in cash?
Yes.
And you kept full coverage on the car, is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
It is your claim that she vandalized the car. And I'm going to get to proof that you have that she vandalized your car. According to you, you had full insurance on the car.
Yes.
And the insurance paid you for the damage, totaling the car, according to you,
Yes.
and gave you how much money?
They gave me $9,000.
They gave you $9,000 for a car that you paid $5,000 for.
Yes.
So far, you're ahead of the game, $4,000.
Yes, I was.
And then, according to this, you bought the car back from the insurance company.
Yes.
For how much?
$2,100.
So you're still ahead $2,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have your truck back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what you're asking for in your lawsuit against the defendant, if I find that she actually vandalized your car, is $3,879.
Yes.
Are you out of your mind? Are you really? Seriously? Are you out of your mind?
How
you
has
make-
that been
just
out
a
of my
second.
mind?
Yeah, I just given you the number, so you must be out of your mind, or you think that I am. Okay, so let's
Okay.
just for giggles. Why don't you show me what proof that you have, proof that the defendant vandalized your car?
Well,
Not well. This isn't a well. Show me what
sent
proof
my-
you
she
you
sent
didn't
my
see
son.
it. You didn't see it.
I did not see it.
Right.
But I
So
know
now,
she did it.
I don't care what you know. I don't care what you know. I said proof. This is a proof case. Show me proof that it's your case. Show me proof that the defendant vandalized your car.
I do not have proof, Your Honor.
Well, then you have no case. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
All right. I'm happy with that.
This way.
I came home from my birthday photo shoot, and he asked me to use the car to go sell marijuana, and I told him no to take his mother's truck.
No, but she gave me her keys. I went to go do that.
But he said that the car didn't have no gas, but I still told him no to lay down. And when I dozed off and went to sleep, I woke up and he was gone.
You hit a gunfire. You hit the bullets hitting the car, and you just hope for the better.
Because he was my boyfriend. He didn't necessarily, wouldn't want to put him in jail. Like, I knew he was gonna answer the phone for me. But it's just like, it's the principle of, if I told you no, don't take it. Like, it wasn't that deep to call the police, especially because he's someone that I love and care for. I'm not gonna put him in jail.
My child could have lost his life. We here for some money, but he could have been dead right now.
We're not together.
Oh, it's over and it's gonna stay over.
I was in Chicago, Illinois, and I was with two other friends. And around the time that she said that, she called my mom, said it happened, I was gone from Indiana for the day before that happened and the day that it happened.
Yeah, sure she was. That's what they all say.
There were so many pieces of that case that were reminiscent of other things. First of all, Sarah, I'm still not comfortable with the wisdom of a parent letting a 16, 17-year-old go and live with her boyfriend in their house just because they want to.
Yeah.
And, live together. Just think that it's such poor judgment. And I know that that's provincial and maybe not au courant with what's going on in the world. But I just find it not in a forward trajectory of anywhere.
Seems to lead to more problems that we see than solutions.
So then forever.
Then quick engagement.
And forever
Usually
romances.
more problems.
Yeah. And the second thing that I found particularly troubling was that this young man, who I think gave me totally honest answers.
Seemed honest.
Maybe not about selling, maybe instead of buying, he was selling. I'm not sure. But so casually, knowing that it's illegal in the jurisdiction where they live to buy, sell, or possess marijuana. And I'm not getting into that discussion now. There should be a federal standard so you know where you are from one state to another. But he knew it was not legal. And how casually he admitted committing a crime.
I did look it up beforehand, and then when he said it, I just cleared the tab because we didn't need the information anymore once he admitted that he knew it was against the law. It was certain thing. I only looked briefly, but it looks like it's a misdemeanor crime with a fine to possess up to a certain amount in Indiana currently. But yeah, but I mean, so in addition to casually admitting to, a misdemeanor here today, also just the demeanor of the defendant speaking about his car being shot up with him inside of it. It was like, I had oatmeal for breakfast. I was like, that seems like something, it was very casual, very monotone. Like that would be a huge life event, in your mind, in my mind, and, many people's minds. And it's just unfortunate that it's become so ingrained in what's going on today that it's just like.
Yeah, and I wonder whether that would have happened had the laws been different in Indiana. Don't know. Certainly, his mother knew that her lawsuit was ridiculous. She got paid twice. She made out like a bandit in having.
Still made a profit.
Yeah,
on
she made a profit on
vehicle.
it. Yeah, right. I don't know how that happens. Anyway, interesting case.
Are you a victim of an assault? Go to Gia is suing his ex-wife, Ana Maravilla, for vandalism and assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3061, Maravilla versus Maravilla.
Mr. Maravilla.
Yes, Your Honor.
You and the defendant are now divorced. You have one child.
That's correct, Your Honor.
How old is the child?
He's 3. He's going to be 4.
And who has primary custody of that child?
She does.
Is that pursuant to the judgment of divorce?
We have a custody agreement where.
This is what you allege in your petition. You allege that it took a while to enforce your visitation with your son, and during the first exchange, where you were supposed to have him for a weekend,
Correct.
that the defendant keyed your car.
That is correct, Your Honor.
You went to her home to pick up the child?
Yes, that's correct.
And your petition says that either you or your former wife put him in his car seat.
Correct.
Who put him in his car seat?
I put him in the car.
No, I put it in the car.
You put him in the
Yes.
car? Okay. And then, for some reason, you took him out of the car seat.
Yes.
Tell me why you took him out of the car seat.
It was my first weekend. I was not going to sleep with him, spend the night. So I was kind of sad. So I came 5 minutes early. So I told his dad, like, is that okay? Can I give you a hug? And he started like, no, screaming to me and like, say like, no, it's already had to go. And that's why like, he like, okay, you want to give you a hug? Take it to the car. That's why I take it after the car.
You took him out of the car. You do know that your hysteria was traumatic for a 3-year-old. Yes, putting him in his father's car, and if he hadn't been away from you, that's traumatic for a child. So now he's in the car and he's in his car seat. Nobody says he's crying. Nobody says he's hysterical. You say, I want to give him one more hug and take him out of the car seat just to give him one more hug.
No, he was crying. He was crying. He was like, and I was talking to him, like, say, you want to go with daddy. You need to understand that's your daddy weekend. Daddy love you, and daddy need to spend time with you, and mommy love you, and then you need to spend time with mommy. So I was talking to him and explaining him.
How long had it been since his father had him for the weekend?
He was here every week, and then call him every day, but like nothing like to go to take it to his house to spend the night.
Why?
Because when we separate, we got agreement. We got agreement that he can see him every day. So he has issues.
He can see him every day. That's what you said. But he wanted to take him. Did he have to go to court for an order of visitation?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But because
so the answer is yes. So, okay. So now you take him out of the car, and you say that it was at that point that she keyed the car.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Tell me what you saw.
I did get there early. I picked him up. She wanted to take him out of the car for 5 minutes. I said, take him out. As soon as she takes him out, I hear something loud, like a scrape, and I looked around back, and there was a big scrape on my
You have a photograph of it?
I also have a video of it. The Tesla recorded it.
I want to see that. But the police were called. You called the police.
Correct.
And the police arrived, Ms. Maravilla, and you told the police that you would pay for the damage.
I didn't. I just got intimidated because...
You already told me. I'm just letting you know. You swore in your answer that you told the police that you would pay for the damage.
Yeah, I was.
That's what you swore in your. You said I was intimidated. because he said, I want to press charges.
Yes.
And then they convinced him that if she says she'll pay for the damage, will you drop the charges? He said yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
I mean, I didn't.
I don't care.
I know, but it was not my. It
was not mine.
I know.
Okay, now I'll see the video.
Okay.
Is this the video of that day?
That's correct, Your Honor. So I'm right there. She's.
Just a second, I couldn't see.
Sorry.
I just want to see the video.
This is the second video, Your Honor.
No, I don't want to look. I want to go back to the other one. Now go slowly, frame by frame. Slowly, frame by frame. There's the hand, her hand on the car. Absolutely.
I don't.
Absolutely. I don't care what you see. That's what I see.
I have the police report, Your Honor.
Can
also.
I see the police?
And the key.
I don't see. I just closed the door. I don't see anything like I did with. Yeah, I don't see anything. I just see like I was closing the door.
This is the police report. Anna admitted that you may have accidentally scratched the door.
I got intimidated. Honestly,
I don't care whether you were
it was
intimidated.
20 like people. 20 police around me, and then he was trying to put charges on me. So I said like, okay, I pay him.
Good. And you're going to pay him. May I see the bill for the scratch door? Oh, and there's the scratch on the car. Did you have it fixed?
No, yeah, Your Honor.
Why not?
Because she said she was going to pay for damages.
Okay. The next thing that you're suing her for is for an assault.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Tell me what happened.
She was doing a pickup at my house. I usually park across from her, so keep our distance. She crossed the street to come to me. She yelled at me because I gave her a check with her maiden name.
That's not true.
Just a second. You gave her a support check, and the last name that you put on the check was what?
Her single name, so Sanchez.
Not her married name.
Right. So I told her I was going to go get it. She didn't want to let me go.
That's not
I had dropped off my son to her. She came at me in an aggressive way, so I took out my phone to record. As soon as she saw that I was going to record, she tried to grab my phone. I moved it. She didn't grab my phone, but she did hit me scratch me on the back. That was also caught on camera.
I'd like to see it. Oh, that's the check? Is that what's in the hand?
That's correct.
Yeah, you can't do that, Miss Marvea.
I know, but he was recording me. He's not allowed to record me.
Just a second. You don't understand. You can't do that. If he didn't have this record, you would tell me a whole different story. You can't do that.
He's not allowed to record me.
I'm telling you, you can't do that. You can't put your hands on somebody.
I'm not putting. He says he was recording me, and then I just like dropped like with my hands. He's like phone.
You don't seem to understand me. And if you don't say I understand you, that I can't put my hands on somebody, you may complain, madam, that he's not allowed to record you, and you may take that case someplace which they're going to dismiss. But you can't put your hands on another person, ever.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I mean,
you want to watch it again?
No, I didn't, but it was not like because he was recording me.
Is there something wrong with you?
I know, I understand
Is there something wrong with you? You can't put your hands on somebody.
Claims his ex-wife, Ana Maravilla, keyed his Tesla and assaulted him. Ana is countersuing Alejandro for filing a false restraining order.
If he put his hands on you when you were defending himself, yes, of course, you have to defend yourself. He didn't put his hands on you at all. And you did come to him in an aggressive way. You came with a check. He gave, let's play it again, Sam. There's the check. He's getting your son. Now the son is out of the car, showing you the check with the wrong name. Why did you do it with the wrong name? You can't do that. You have photographs of the scratch?
I don't, Your Honor. I do have the police report.
I'd like to see it.
They granted me a temporary restraining order also.
Did it become final?
No, it didn't. They wasn't approved according to the judge. And I have the when I filed also.
Just a second. According to the police report, you had 2 small scratches on your neck.
That's correct, Your Honor. But this is an ongoing thing when our exchanges are for our custody. And it's always in front of our son. And I don't think that's right.
Okay. Now, you want money for attorney's fees, lost wages for filing a false restraining order. What was the false restraining order?
Because he put my restraining order, and it was like they denied him.
I just saw you assaulted.
No, but I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's something behind that. Like, he insulted me too. I had like texts that he texted me that he didn't care. I was in the middle to the traffic that day.
Just a second. It's very simple. To pick up the child, you were late. He did, in fact, take the child from the car, and the child was walking towards you. He didn't withhold the child from you, gave you as he was supposed to, returned the child to you. You had no right to put your hands on him.
I know. But
Good.
He haven't paid me child support and babysitter for almost a year. Right now, he's mad because child support is taking the money away from his account.
Well, I'm telling you, it sounds to me like you're a perpetual victim in your own mind. Listen, going through a divorce is always a difficult situation. Going through a divorce when there's a child is even more difficult.
It is.
What you're supposed to do is love your child more than you hate each other. Now, what I have to ask you is, do you work?
Yes.
And you have a bank account?
Yes.
In what name is the bank account?
Partners.
What name is the bank account?
Ana Maravilla.
Now, you've been married 3 years and you're divorced. In the divorce, were you able to go back to your maiden name, or did you want to go back to your maiden name?
Because we haven't filed the divorce, I can.
Is the divorce final?
No.
Your Honor, it's just.
Oh, just a second.
It's just.
So the divorce is not final yet?
No.
They just need to sign it. Their
I don't care whether he has to sign it, whether somebody has to put a blood imprint on it. The question is the divorce final?
No.
No. Okay. So you, sir, not smart to put the child support check in the name Sanchez. It's irritating. You shouldn't do it. You still can't put your hands on somebody.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I think she made the right choice. I'm like, the evidence speaks for themselves.
I mean, maybe he was with like before, but he was blaming me and I didn't.
She's obviously not all there. I'm trying to keep a good relationship with her because we have a son together.
Like working out, like get like co-parenting.
Hope that she can see that she's wrong and that she just moves on from this and gets a better relationship with me and her.
Mother's best advice always was, you can't put your hands on someone else's body. And I think that people really discount. They think they're in a relationship, they're in a marriage, their brother, their sister, whatever. You put your hands on somebody, you're going to pay for that.
Well, then it's an assault. And I don't know the law. I really don't know the law, which is something you're going to look up later, as to whether you're in a public place and you video someone in a public place and you're not doing it for commercial reasons, you're doing it sort of in a protective way.
Sure.
I don't know that there's any prohibition against that.
I'll look into it, but just from my common sense, I feel when you're in a public place, at least my personal practice is to assume that anyone in a public place can
be
record
video.
you.
Yeah. They may not be able to use you for commercial purposes,
Sure.
but this was for protection purposes.
Sure.
Case 3050.
Britt is standing in for bailiff Kevin Roscoe, and law clerk Alexi Mincer is sitting in for law clerk Sarah Rose. Tanisha Merriweather is suing her ex-boyfriend, Ty Womack, for a business loan he failed to pay back.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case number 3070, Merriweather versus Womack.
Thank you. Ms. Merriweather, you and the defendant were sort of briefly in a relationship. Is that correct?
Yes,
And it is your claim that during the course of that relationship, you made a loan to him.
that's correct.
And that loan was to start a business.
Yes.
He hasn't paid you back.
No,
That's
yes.
right here. Mr. Womack says that you did, in fact, give him that money, but you're going to show me where you took it from, right?
Yes.
That he didn't start the business because he got preoccupied with other things,
Correct.
but it was a gift, right?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Womack, when and where did you meet the plaintiff?
We met online and we started dating.
On what online?
Just online.
Isn't there a site, a place, a Facebook?
An
Where did you
online.
meet?
It's an online dating app called Black.
And when did you meet?
May 2022.
That's when you first met online.
Yes.
When did you meet in person?
It was toward the end of May, so maybe like May 29th or something.
And you both live in the same area?
Correct.
Where do you live?
I live in Los Angeles.
And you, sir?
Inglewood.
What kind of work do you do, Miss Merriweather?
I work for a reentry program, so we assist formerly incarcerated individuals. So we help them with housing, employment, and education.
And what do you do, sir?
Freelance production, so pretty much all of this that's going on.
Doing what?
Production coordinator, writer, everything that is associated with film and TV.
Who do you live with, sir?
Myself.
Who do you live with?
Myself.
Ever been married?
No.
You?
No.
Have kids?
Yes, one.
How old?
12.
Boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Lives with you?
Yes, she does.
And you, sir?
3.
How old are they?
17, 15, and 6.
Are they also in Los Angeles?
They are,
Do you see them?
often.
Who do they live with?
Their mothers. But each one has their own room at my house.
In your house?
Yes.
You pay support for them?
No, we don't have support set up.
Okay, so the two of you met online in May of 22, went out the end of May for the first time. At that time, Mr. Womack, what kind of work were you doing in May?
Production.
And according to what I read, that sort of dried up and you were blowing through your savings.
I wouldn't say that. I did wrap a show, and Miss Mayweather asked me what my plans were or if I had any business aspirations. I told her.
What month was this?
I'd like to say the end of 2022.
So you were dating from May of 2022 through December?
Yes.
Were you and Miss Merriweather, at least on your part, exclusive in your dating?
No.
Were you?
Yes.
Did you know he was not?
No.
From May of 2022 to December, did you ever tell Miss Merriweather that you were seeing other people?
I let her know that dating was seeing other people and that we were dating. We weren't in an exclusive
Well,
relationship.
tell me how you explained that to her. I'm just curious because this $5,000 is a whole bunch of money. So I would like to know how you explained to her that she was just a date.
That we were dating. And in dating, you date other people. You see other people.
Well, I want to know how you convey that to Miss Merriweather, because this comes in a little bit later in your story, sir. She said she didn't know that you were dating other people.
We never had any talks of exclusivity. We never had any
That's not
talks
my question.
I don't know how to explain it, but I just let her know that we were dating, and she was free to do whatever she wanted to do.
But you also told me.
Shh. I'm getting it.
Okay.
When you had this discussion about this brainstorm that you were doing about how to add some money to your bank account, you're in the production business. What do you know about the used car business? Is not an answer.
I've been in
cars too, but I don't know anything about flipping cars. I just know that I drive a car. What do you know about it?
I've gone to school for mechanic, so I know how to fix a car.
Great.
But about selling, I haven't done it. So
about doing anything, how to buy, where to buy, how to sell.
I have attended auctions before, and I have purchased cars from auctions before.
Oh, good. And so you must have told that to Miss Merriweather.
I did.
Okay, because she wouldn't have guessed that. For instance, I wouldn't say to, my memory is not what it used to be, but if I were dating a guy who was in production, all different kinds, I wouldn't say, by the way, did you ever fix cars? Do you understand? Yeah. So that had to come up in a conversation somehow.
It did.
I want you to tell me how.
We were talking about
this is the end of the year.
Different things that I've done. I mentioned different jobs that I had.
Well, how did it come up? You must have said, you know what, my job wrapped and I don't have a steady income now. And I have 3 kids and I have to support myself and they all have a room in my house. It had to have something. You weren't living together, you each have your own space, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it had to come up somehow. It's not a guessing game. She wasn't like Johnny Carson and Karnak. What's in the envelope? The answer to the question is, it had to come up by you saying something to her, sir.
So we were having a conversation about the show wrapping. She asked me if I had anything lined up, any business ideas that I may have had. I shared them with her.
No, and what did you say to her? So she said, what's lined up? Your show wrapped, what's lined up?
I have an idea for purchasing cars and flipping cars.
You said to her?
Yes.
Okay.
And I asked her, are you asking me out of curiosity or are you asking me because you want to help? And
why would you ask?
She said a little of both.
Why would you ask somebody that you were just dating for financial help?
Because again, we're just dating. So if
well, that's what I'm asking you. Why would a person of character ask a woman who he was just dating for money?
Weather claims her ex-boyfriend, Ty Womack, owes for a loan she gave him for a car flipping business.
A grown man ask a person who is self-supporting, takes care of a child, who lives with her full-time, why would you ask her for money?
I didn't ask her for money. She offered the money to me.
Well, how does that happen, sir?
Over the course of the conversation. And then she let me know, that business venture you were into, I'm going to give you the money.
Miss Merriweather, you have a 12-year-old daughter.
Yes.
She go to school?
Yes.
She does okay in school?
Yes, she does.
She have plans on going on to higher education?
Yes, she does.
Yeah. You have all of her college money put away?
Not all of it, no, I do not.
You saved some?
I'm saving, yes.
Saving, so that your daughter can go to school?
Yes.
You wouldn't give somebody that you were casually dating, who's dating other people, money just as a gift?
No, I would not.
Yeah, why would you do that? You don't look like an idiot.
I'm not.
Mr. Womack, I can understand it if you had an exclusive relationship and you both thought that you were going to build a life together and you were struggling financially and you had a discussion about how you could improve your financial profile. That I can understand. But so let's see what you told me, sir. Because this is all about loan, gift, loan. She thought you were in an exclusive relationship. You, not so much. You had an idea to flip cars to make some money. According to you, she said, I can help, right? With that business, right?
Yes.
Not to give it to you so that you could support your kids or to go out and find a new girlfriend, which you did. According to you, that's what you did. So let me understand. You said to her, I'm going to use the money to start a business to flip cars. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
But then you didn't. Now, you give me a whole lot of reasons in your answer as to why you didn't. So let me see if I remember. You said you were preoccupied with your mother's illness, right? And then she started to ask you a whole lot of things while you were preoccupied with your mother's illness, like where to go to dinner, or were you going to Disneyland, or other that you considered silly things considering your situation with your mother, right? That's what you say in your answer.
Yes.
But you weren't so preoccupied with your mother that you didn't find another girlfriend, because that's what you also say in your answer. So somehow, between taking care of your mother and this alleged business, you found time to find a new girlfriend.
Correct.
And you never did buy a car or start the business. That's what you also said.
First off, she was never
just
my
a second.
She was never my girlfriend.
That's not what I asked you. I didn't say she was your girlfriend. I didn't say she was your girlfriend. Would that be correct? Let's read the question back to him, Whitney, that I posed to him, because he didn't give me the answer to my question.
But you weren't so preoccupied with your mother that you didn't find another girlfriend, because that's what you also say in your answer. Somehow, between taking care of your mother and this alleged business, you found time to find a new girlfriend, correct?
Not a new girlfriend. She was never my girlfriend to start with.
You mean she was never, but you found...
So in dating other people...
Just strike the word new. It was a sufficient girlfriend for you to put in your answer.
So while dating other people?
No. Not what I asked you, sir. You want me to read the question again?
Sure.
You managed to find another girlfriend.
No.
No. Did you buy a car?
No.
I'm going to ask you $24,000 question, or excuse me, the $64,000 question. What did you do with her money?
I used it towards my mother's funeral.
Really? Is that what she gave you the money for?
No, but
then
she
you
also
took it,
let me
then
know that I could use the money for other things. And I told her I was trying to hold on to it.
Just a second. Miss Merriweather, did he ever tell you he used that money for his mother's funeral?
No, he didn't. No.
We weren't talking at that time.
When did your mother die?
March this year.
So she gave you the money in what month? What month did she give you the money?
December, January.
Look
December.
there.
December 2022.
Now, you had December, so you had Christmas for your kids, right? You had January, whole month of January. So what you're telling me is you didn't spend any of that money in December. You didn't spend any of the money in January. You didn't spend any of the money in February. You saved it all up for your mother's funeral.
December and January, I'm not sure if you remember, it was really rainy, and we had months of rain, like 2 solid months of rain. There were no auctions to go to because they're outdoors.
And?
So I couldn't go.
You are so lucky. You are so lucky. You should kiss the ground that you're standing on. He has 3 children who have 2 or 3 mothers. I know at least 2. 3 mothers? Right. And he took your money and spent it on himself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Brothers and sisters, Mr. Womack?
I do.
How many?
Too many to count.
Too many to count. My God, I can count all the way up to 100. You're a hustler, Mr. Womack. Can I see the $5,000 that you gave him? You're a hustler, and you should thank your lucky stars, madam, that you didn't involve him in your daughter's life, because it would be a terrible thing to involve a hustler in your daughter's life. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished.
Thanks. Great.
Court is adjourned.
It was a gift. She gave me the money.
He knew that he owed me the money that I loaned him, and it was not a gift for him to use for his mother's funeral.
She gave me the money. And I told her once I got money from the business that I would pay her back, or she could become a partner in the business.
No, we had a conversation about him starting a business. He came to pick the money up from me, and I gave him cash for him to start his business and also repay me.
And had I been with her, she'd never ask me for that money ever again.
No, he owes me, and it was for a business that he started. It was an investment for him.
Out of the blue, she showed up at my house with some subpoenas.
He didn't respond back. He blocked me, and that was it. I'm not going to loan out any more money to anyone I'm dating.
Okay, my clerk. So This is my take on this case. I made a decision today based on what I perceived as the facts and the relationship between these two people. The fact that I think she sort of got hoodwinked. So now I want you to give me a legal rationale for what I just did.
Sure. So he accepted money for a car flipping business, and he's under a legal obligation to exercise best efforts to put that money towards his car flipping business. And he used it for reasons outside of that. This was not a no strings attached gift. This was for car flipping, and he has to use it for that.
I buy that. Thank you.
Case number 3.
Her husband's co-worker, Aaron Coker, for the cost of a Labradoodle.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3041, Bloomfield White versus Coker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. White, the thrust of your case is that you sold a dog to the defendant and he didn't pay for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendant has a couple of defenses, one of which was that the dog was sick.
Yes, ma'am.
He had lots of vet bills for the dog, and ultimately those vet bills far outweighed what he owed on the dog. And is it your wife?
No, ma'am.
Girlfriend, whoever
Friend,
lived?
yes.
Your girlfriend with whom you live?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They had enough of the dog, and he says he gave it away.
Well, before I did that, I asked them repeatedly, can they just come get the dog because we were put in the middle of a family triangle.
Let's start out with where you got the dog and what kind of dog it is.
Yeah, so I got the dog from my mom on August 21st.
Okay, that's what I read, August 21st of last year.
Yes.
How old was the dog when you got it from your mother?
She was 2 months old at the time.
Okay. Would you step up, please? Tell me your last name.
White.
Miss White, tell me when you bought this dog.
I believe it was June 28th, 29th.
And how much did you pay for the dog?
$800.
How long did you keep the dog? For just 2 months?
A little over a month, yes.
And then what happened to the dog?
I decided to sell the dog to my daughter at that time.
Why?
I was going through some medical issues, and I thought that I would be able to handle it, but I was completely wrong.
And you sold the dog to your daughter?
I did.
How much did you sell the dog for?
$900.
So you made a profit from your daughter?
No, ma'am. I also sold her a cage along with the dog that I paid $125 for.
So you sold her not only the dog, but the cage?
Yes.
For $900?
Yes.
And how much did your daughter pay you for the dog?
Nothing.
Zero, right? That's
Correct.
what I'm getting from here. And then, Miss White, you decided that you couldn't care for the dog.
Yes, ma'am.
What month?
It was October. I found out that I had conceived, and the dog was not potty trained. The smell of it was just making me really sick, so I decided to go ahead and sell the dog myself. I posted a post on Facebook on October 17th.
You had the dog August, September, and October.
Correct.
When did you take the dog to the vet?
I did not.
The answer is you did not.
Never.
When did you take the dog to the vet?
Never.
When did you take the dog to the vet?
I never took the dog to the vet.
So now we have a dog that you acquired in June that had to be at least 6 weeks old, so it had to be born sometime late April or May.
It was born May 31st, 2022.
So you took the dog when it was 4 weeks old, a little early to take a puppy. Okay. And when you took the dog, did you get paperwork that told you what kind of shots the dog had had?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I'd like to take a look at the paper. I see the dog was dewormed on 2 occasions, but I don't see any shots.
Okay, so this is what she wrote down here. So this
I don't care what she wrote down there. You have a dog. The dog is a puppy. It needs shots. It needs shots before it can go around other dogs. Do you mean you had no clue as to this, and neither did you, Miss White? That the dog needed shots?
No, actually, when me and him made the agreement for him to come and purchase the dog, we had a phone call.
I don't care about a phone call. I'm talking about, you don't understand what I'm saying to you, madam. What I'm saying to you, your mother had a dog that was born sometime in May. She had the dog June, July. Between the two of you, August, right? You know that a dog, like a baby, has to get injections, shots for rabies, for distemper. Shots to make it healthy so that it's around other dogs, it won't get sick. Neither you nor your mother took the dog to get put it down unless you have shots to show me. I'm not interested in anything other than your neglect of this dog for 6 months. That's all I'm interested in. Right now, that's what I'm interested in. Your neglect of this puppy for 6 months.
The dog was due for shots in September when her insurance became active.
Let me explain something to you. The dog wasn't due when her insurance became active. The dog was due when it's a puppy. It gets puppy shots. The fact that you didn't want to give the dog shots until it got insurance is not the dog's problem.
Exactly.
That's your problem. The puppy needed puppy shots. Within 6 months, you had the dog for 6 months between the two of you and didn't take care of it. And I don't understand that. What?
So I definitely do apologize. It was my first time having a puppy, and I didn't know that it needed a shot.
You note in the chart that the dog was dewormed. That's all that you gave me.
I didn't know what type of shots the dog needed. And
Then you
that's my
look
ignorance.
just a second. Then you look on the internet. You ask the breeder from whom you bought it. You ask people. You find out. You don't do nothing. It's a live animal. You're supposed to take care of it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you agree. Because his defense is that when he got the dog got sick. Miss White, let me understand your complaint. You charged him $1,600 for a dog you didn't pay for, that you still owed the full price on. Am I reading this wrong?
No, you're not.
Don't help me. I don't need your help.
Yes, ma'am.
I need her help.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor. My agreement was that I was supposed to pay my mom the money out of the sale of the dog.
Just a second.
Was going
You
to
had the dog August, September, and October. You paid your mother nothing.
I got the dog August 21st. My mother and I made the agreement that I would not immediately pay her for the dog as we had just both moved to the area and I didn't have it. So she knew that I did not have
I
the
don't
money
care what
to
she
pay for
knew.
the dog.
You didn't buy the dog from your mother to resell it, I assume.
No, originally I was going to keep the dog, but I decided not to keep the dog. But either way, our agreement was still for me to pay her.
I don't care. You sold him the dog for $1,600 and you didn't pay for it. Did you give...
Claims her husband's co-worker, Aaron Coker, owes for the cost of a Labradoodle. Aaron says Kiara sold him a sick dog.
Okay, in addition to not paying for it, which, you know, that's between you and your mother, has something to do with the legality of your lawsuit because you can't sell something that you don't own, and you don't own it until you pay for it, right? My real problem with the two of you is you don't appear to be people without any common sense or brains. How do you not know that a puppy needs puppy shots before it can be involved with other dogs, walk around, be near other dogs, that it needs shots just like a baby does?
Your Honor, I was aware of the fact that the dog was supposed to go for shots in September.
No, it wasn't supposed to go in September,
I got
madam.
the dog August 21st from my mom. My mom told me the following month that the dog was going to need shots. That was only like a week or so from the August when I got the dog.
So where did you get this idea that this puppy that you had didn't need shots before September? Your daughter a moment ago said September was the date because that's when your insurance kicked in.
September 1st, yes. I got the idea from Tina, the person that I actually purchased the dog from. She told me that the dog would be due for his first shots the last week of August. But the problem is that he told us the dog had rabies. And I researched that.
That it had
and
rabies
there is
and
no...
worms.
Sure.
Who told you the dog had rabies? Oh, I'm not talking about him.
That's why he didn't want to pay, because he said the dog had rabies.
Let me explain something to you. I don't know whether the dog had rabies or not. I know that you and your daughter were negligent. And your daughter has no claim because she didn't pay for the animal. You did. You're not the plaintiff. You paid $800. You sold it to your daughter for $900, and you sold it to him without shots for $1,600, of which he paid you $5.
No, ma'am. We had an agreement to pay the $5, but I wasn't giving up nothing.
Just a second. So you paid nothing?
Nothing. No, ma'am. The first payment wasn't due until I got paperwork and everything on the dog.
Okay. So you got the dog in October, October
Yes, ma'am.
17th.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see the vet bills after October 17th.
I have that, and I got her rabies shot certificate and things like that.
This doesn't show me anything.
Yes, ma'am.
This shows me a surgery consult. I don't know.
No, he wanted to do surgery, and
Just a second.
yes, ma'am.
This isn't a vet bill. I've been doing this for 28 years. So if you're not going to be able to show me what I want, don't waste my time with the zh on the machine.
Okay.
If you don't have it, you don't have it.
I don't have it on me right
Then
now.
just say I don't have it.
No, ma'am, I don't.
Why don't you have the vet bill? We're not talking about forever ago, sir. All you have to do is say to the vet, I'm going to court, I need a copy of my bill.
That's my...
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I want you to tell me, because I'm not crazy about either one of you. You, because you were both negligent with regard to this puppy. You had no right to get a puppy if the two of you weren't emotionally or financially able to take care of it. You should certainly understand that when you get a puppy, when you buy a puppy, did you pay for it, by the way?
I did.
Okay. And if you paid $800 for a puppy, you ask certain questions. I've had dogs in my life for 70 years. Every time I purchase a dog, the person from whom I purchase it gives me a piece of paper that says when the dog was born, who the parents were, when it got its first shot, when it got its second shot, when it's due for its third shot. That's what you get. And it's hard for me to comprehend that neither one of you really either understood it or just figured, well, I had the dog for 6 weeks, then I'm going to sell it to my daughter. I don't know, she'll want it, she doesn't want it. She's going to sell it to somebody else for twice as much as I paid for it. Because she sold it to him, allegedly, for twice as much as you paid for it. Sick. Sick. Where's the dog now?
Well, I repeatedly asked him to come get the... I gave the dog to a friend of mine.
Did you give the dog to him?
Yes.
No payment?
None at all.
Why?
Well, because...
Not well. Well is not an answer.
I'm sorry.
Well is not an answer. You understand that I have problems with your veracity already.
Okay. So I just gave the dog away after I repeatedly asked them if they want the dog back.
Just a second.
3 dogs are in the house with us, which is what they call Katana, which we call Lucky. And then I have a little small Chihuahua, a miniature Chihuahua, named Kimura. And then we have another dog that is called, what is her name? China. Yes, so we have 3 dogs in the house. Well, I had 3. Now it's 2.
When did you give the dog away?
It had to have been like December sometime.
Your Honor.
What?
The only reason I wasn't just trying to double charge him for the dog, I was trying to get the money back that I had put into the dog. My mom put that amount.
Just a second, what did you put into the dog?
I had to pay a lease agreement to have the dog.
Who cares? What is that?
I paid $500.
Who cares?
Well, when I was selling the dog, I was looking to get my compensation back, and that's what we agreed upon.
That has nothing to do with him or the dog. That has
we
nothing
agreed upon that price for the dog.
He's not paying you anything.
Okay.
He's not paying you anything. He gave the dog away. Would you tell me the dog got a rabies shot on October 31st?
Yes, ma'am.
What you need an x-ray for?
Well, see, because she was throwing up and we were trying to figure out what was going on with the dog. She was sick. So we had to take her to an emergency clinic, which that I explained that to them.
Just a second. What emergency clinic?
It's called hospital.
Look it up. Get a number. I'm going to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
If Sarah called this vet hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave them authorization, the dog's name that you gave the dog was what?
Lucky.
Lucky.
Lucky. Yes, ma'am.
Gave the vet hospital your name, the dog's name, Lucky.
Yes, ma'am.
How much would they tell me that your vet bill was for Lucky?
It was $1,022 and some change.
Do me a favor. Call them. I want you to find out, Sarah, how much he paid and what was done to the dog. When you had the dog, Miss White, and you said the dog was making all over your house and you had to get rid of it because you couldn't stand the smell, didn't you think that the dog was sick?
No, she wasn't potty trained. She was still a puppy. The smell of it was a lot for me being pregnant. It would cause me to be sick and nauseous all the time. He called me and he was like, why do you want to get rid of the dog? What's wrong with the dog? I said, well, nothing's wrong with her. She's just really active. I'm pregnant. Everything was fine. I told him then I didn't take her for her shot that she needed in September. He was fine with that. We agreed on the price.
No, just a second. Just stop there. You didn't take her for her shots.
Yeah, in September, like my mom had told me I needed to. I did make him aware of that before he even came up there.
You do understand that if I find that he, in fact, spent over $800, which is what your mother paid for the dog, over $800 in vet bills for this dog, you get nothing. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because you sold him a sick dog.
Is accusing her husband's coworker, Aaron Coker, of refusing to pay for the Labradoodle he purchased. Aaron claims he had to pay for vet bills because the dog was already sick.
You do understand that if I find that he, in fact, spent over $800 in vet bills for this dog, you get nothing.
Okay, but Your Honor.
Her husband agreed that the dog maybe got sick because the dog was eating out of the cat bowl, drinking the cat water from a stray cat. That would make a dog sick right there.
Absolutely.
So after the husband told me that, I already know what it was.
Okay, Your Honor. As far as the shots, I understand that the dog was supposed to go and get its shots. And I did know that, and that's why I let him know that there was shots that I did not give the dog.
Doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter.
Well, I just want you to know that I made him aware of it, and he was fine with the fact that the dog needed shots and paying for the shots that the dog needed.
Paying for shots doesn't cost $1,000. It doesn't cost $1,400. It only costs that kind of money if the dog is sick.
And she was sick. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, that's not what they informed us. I have 3 different messages, different things
all
that
I'm
they
telling
told
you
us.
is I'm going to see if I can get a response on the phone, if I can. If he paid anywhere near $800 to the vet to take care of a sick puppy, end of story.
Hi, this is Sarah Rose, and I'm a law clerk for Judge Judy Sheindlin with the show Judy Justice. And we have a case in front of us right now regarding Aaron Coker and his dog Lucky, who came in, and I just needed a write-up of what he paid as well as what the dog received. Okay, so you have no record of him then? I do not. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much for your help.
The fact that you never had a dog before, that you didn't know, that you were pregnant, that you were nauseous, all is meaningless to the dog that was neglected. Meaningless. Now you can sit down.
Your Honor, I have a question.
I don't answer questions.
Okay, well...
I ask questions. Yes?
They had no record of Aaron Coker or Lucky.
This was less than a year ago. You can get a vet bill.
Yes, ma'am.
You knew you were coming to court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. White, first of all, you had an animal that you hadn't paid for, so you had no right to sell it. I actually find that your conduct and your mother's, although not intentionally negligent with regard to this dog, was in fact negligent, and you sold him a dog that he got rid of after he took it to the vet, because I believe he probably took it to the vet because she was sick. Did you have a cat?
Yeah, there was a stray cat outside, and they would sleep next to each other outside in the backyard. The cat and the dog, like, they would just be out there taking a nap together when I went outside.
You do understand that puppies can get sick from other animals. Yes. Cats or dogs, they don't discriminate whether it's a cat or a dog that has an intestinal bug, and you have a cat outside that you feed outside.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm not denying that the dog needed its shots. I know that it's needed its shots, and I know that it could have contracted worms because worms is something you can get. I learned that after the fact.
Or other things.
The dog was completely healthy when I gave him the dog. He even sent me a picture of the dog playing with his other dog when he received the dog.
Maybe. And maybe the dog got sick hanging around with his other dogs. That's possible.
Changed the story 3 different times. And I have all the messages of them changing their story every time for what was actually wrong, for why they wouldn't pay me the money for the dog.
First of all, you didn't pay any money for the dog.
I paid to have the dog in my home.
Who cares what you paid your landlord? I don't care what you paid. No court cares what you paid your landlord in order to have a dog. Nobody cares. You didn't pay for the dog. There is a certain amount of fairness that if your mother is owed money for this dog, and even though she was neglectful of this animal, he really had no right to turn around and give it away to somebody else. And I'm not so sure that after he got a 6-month-old dog well again with all the shots, that there was no money exchanged with regard to the dog. I'm not so sure, sir.
Well, I didn't charge anybody. I asked them numerous of times. They wouldn't come and get the dog. It was just getting out of hand.
Well, it was getting out of hand because, sir, you hadn't paid them any money. When were you supposed to make your first payment?
Like November 10th or 11th.
Okay, and you had the dog until December.
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you make your first payment?
Because the dog was sick and I've been asking them to come get the dog.
First of all, you can't tell them to come and get the dog because you bought it. You bought it without a contract that said it had a health guarantee, a health warranty, whatever. That doesn't mean she's getting a penny because she didn't pay for the dog.
Okay.
You had an arrangement with her to pay her in November. You didn't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, stand up a second. Did your daughter agree to pay you back after she got paid from him?
She did.
You see, my problem is I could dismiss your case and then your mother would have to come back because she's the actual owner of the dog because you didn't pay for the dog. And there is no way that you're getting twice as much as what you paid for the dog. But I don't think, Mr. Coker, that you're being honest. You certainly didn't bring me the proof. You certainly didn't bring me evidence that was either in your possession or capable of being in your possession. And I don't think that these people in Beaufort who spoke to her were lying to her when they said they don't have you in their system with a dog whose name is Lucky. Then you have to pay something for this dog that you just gave away, because I'm not so sure that you just gave it away. The only sadness for me in this entire case is that this poor puppy had, by the time it was 6 months old, 4 different owners, all of whom were neglectful. You, and I don't know about the person that you ultimately gave the dog to. I don't know whether that person is going to be using or abusing her because, according to you, he got her for free. And even those shelters that really have rescue animals, they charge something because they want people to have a certain financial investment in taking care of a pet before they give you a pet. So that you gave what was an expensive dog to this person for free is something that I don't buy, like I don't buy the vet bill. You get $100 for the dog. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $100. That's it. Next time, take better care of animals.
This court is adjourned.
I mean, it was a fair judgment. I wish I had brought the right document with me, and I didn't, so.
He lied about having the bills, and he gets to get away with not paying it.
It was a family feud between the mother and the daughter, and now the mother is standing with the daughter now, so.
She was completely healthy, and he knows that.
She was sick. She was small.
He just didn't want to pay that much for a dog.
I'm happy she found a great home.
That was one of the few cases in my career where I really had a tough time making a judgment.
Yeah.
Sarah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with your judgment in the end. I know it was meant to be sort of a wrist slap to the defendant, of course, for being, you know, a little untruthful in multiple parts of his story. But technically, the plaintiff was not the right plaintiff.
You know, you really can't at the last minute just substitute one plaintiff for another. They were just foolish and neglectful of this puppy and got it for all the wrong reasons. His story about this $1,400 vet bill was untruthful. And I knew it was untruthful because if you print up that piece of paper, the
vet logo would be right all over that.
The logo was on top, and it doesn't say range of treatment, proposed bill.
It looks that way when a defendant prepares their own statement
and makes a copy of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you a victim of an assault? Go to judyjustice.tv.
Did she file an eviction notice against you?
Yes, ma'am.
She was fussing, yelling, and cussing and threatening to beat me up.
She still has property there.
Oh, yes.
No, ma'am.
She left a dog.
You took a dog with you?
Yes.
She had 2 dogs. Those dogs had puppies, and she ran a little farm out of my house.
This is Judy Justice. Keila Bell is suing her former landlord, Janita Akins, for filing false evictions, slander, and harassment.
All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3076, Bell versus Akins.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Bell, Miss Akins was your landlord for a period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
Were there 2 separate houses? She lived in one, you lived in the other?
Yes, ma'am.
But you were next door neighbors?
Right next door.
So you have a rental home?
Yes, ma'am.
How large a home is it?
It's a 2-bedroom.
Who lived there with you?
Me, my daughter, and my 21-year-old son.
You have dogs?
I have 2.
When did you first lease the house from Miss Akins?
I leased from Miss Akins September 29th of 2022.
And what was the rent you were paying?
$87.
A month?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means you were receiving Section 8 housing, they were paying the rest?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much rent were you receiving?
A total of $750.
What does your son do?
My son works at a Steak and Shake restaurant in our hometown.
And your daughter?
She works also.
At what?
Clothing store.
And you?
Steak and Shake also.
So you have 3 full-time employed people living in your house?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you qualify for Section 8 housing?
Well, everybody at the same time just started working at the home. I no longer receive Section 8 at this time.
Well, I know that you don't because you say that you don't, and that's part of your complaint against her, that because of the fact that she filed all these eviction notices against you, you lost your Section 8 housing. That's what you say in your complaint.
I let it go.
Well, I just want to know how you were getting it in the first place.
Yeah, I didn't have employment when I started receiving it.
So it wasn't because of her that you lost your Section 8 housing. It was because there were 3 employed adults.
No.
So it wasn't because of her.
It was because of her.
Impossible. That's impossible.
Okay.
All 3 of you were working when you lost your Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
Then with 3 adults working, the government shouldn't be paying $750 or $700 for your rent, and you're only paying $87.
Well, it ended up changing from $750. Well, from my $87, I ended up paying $350. When my income went up, I ended up paying the $350 in rent to Miss Akins.
How long did you live there?
A year.
So I'm crossing out the part of your complaint that alleges that because of her conduct, you lost your Section 8 housing. You lost your Section 8 housing because you didn't qualify for it.
No, I still had it.
What I'm saying to you as a taxpayer, you shouldn't have had it. 3 adult people working in your household, and the rent is relatively minimal. $750 is a relatively minimal rent. It means that each of you were paying $200, about $200 a month rent. I'm certain that even with minimum wage jobs, that's a reasonable rent. Okay, so she filed several eviction notices against you. When, for the first time, did she file an eviction notice against you? And can I see the papers, please?
I found drugs in the kitchen.
No. You're not answering my question. My question was, when did she first file an eviction notice against you? That requires a date when she filed an eviction notice against you.
11/1. I have a few of them, Your Honor.
No, when was the first time? Just answer my question. When was the first time she filed an eviction notice against you?
October the 15th, I believe it was.
Okay. October of what year?
2022.
May I see it, please? The basis for it. Did you say October of 22 or September of 22?
October.
October. So a month after you moved in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It was filed the 26th of October.
Okay.
21st, I'm sorry.
Okay. The hearing date was November 16th. This is what you allege. illegal drugs in unit. Tell me about that.
Miss Bell had called me saying that she had found fentanyl in the cabinets. This was done over text message. She over text, between texting and calling. And she said that there was fentanyl in a sandwich bag. I have a picture of it. It's kind of, it's only in black and white, but.
Okay, so she called you and said she found drugs in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and go ahead.
I didn't believe her because the house had been empty for 4 months before she moved in it. And it had been cleaned several times.
Miss Bell, let me tell you this. It doesn't make sense for her to call you and tell you that she found this bag of drugs in the house if they were hers. Do you understand?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So I don't understand, as one of the causes to evict her, you say illegal drugs in unit.
That wasn't the first cause for trouble between her and I. The first was, and it was coupled together within maybe a 2 or 3 week span. So she was smoking in the unit. I had called her within 3 weeks of her moving into the unit. I had called the police on her twice already.
For what?
For threatening me, cussing me out, coming into the unit. I believe that she was coming up with reasons to try to get money out of me.
No. Okay. Well, when was the first time you had trouble with her?
It was October the 14th.
Okay.
That I called the police on her.
For what?
I called the police on her because she was fussing, yelling, and cussing and threatening to beat me up.
Keila Bell claims her former landlord, Janita Akins, filed false evictions and harassed her. Janita is countersuing Keila for a water heater and property damage.
Do you remember what that dispute was about, Miss Bell?
The drugs in the kitchen cabinet.
That was about the drugs. Well, explain it to me.
When I called Miss Akins and explained to her about drugs being in my kitchen cabinet, I was convicted over 15 years ago for drugs. It was the way I chose, to support me and my children. I made a vow that when I got taken away from my children, I would never do it again. So I haven't touched drugs. When I called Miss Akins and explained to her the situation, I felt like I was taken advantage of.
Do you think she knew that there were drugs in your house?
Honestly, I do.
Well, what would make you think that? Did she know about your history?
She does.
Did you tell her?
She's a friend of my aunt.
This is a problem, Miss Akins, this first eviction notice. I don't know what antisocial behavior is, breaking the lease. What is that? Because illegal drugs, I don't believe, were hers. The house may have been vacant for 4 months, but it's also possible that somebody else got in there. There is no question in my mind that she would not call you and tell you that she found drugs in the house.
Your Honor, can I just say that the house was a Section 8 house. The house had been inspected several times.
I don't care. I don't care.
The inspector?
I don't care. I don't know what the inspector did, whether he opened up cabinets or whatever. It just doesn't make sense for the plaintiff to call you and tell you that she found drugs in the house, especially since she didn't want to move then. She didn't want to move out of the house. So why would she call you and say there were drugs in the house? I mean, I can understand if she called and said, listen, there are drugs in the house and I don't like what's going on here, so I want to move. But it doesn't make sense for her to call you.
She didn't say she wanted to move.
No, I said to you, it doesn't make sense for her to call you. Okay, so illegal drugs, forget it. Disturbing the peace, that's when you got into an altercation with her about the drugs in the house, and yes. I can see she's emotional about that. Antisocial behavior is a very large thing, so any judge would have thrown out this complaint, right. Which I assume that they did because it was nonsense.
Yes.
Okay, so we have one nonsense eviction notice. When was the next eviction notice?
The next one was 11/1.
When was the next eviction notice you filed against her, Miss Akins?
I filed that personally. I hadn't had a lawyer at an attorney.
I don't care whether you had a lawyer.
So
it's nonsense.
Right. So I do believe the next one was in November.
Okay.
I do believe the next one was in November because I had filed that one incorrectly.
Okay. May I see it, please? Thank you. Okay. So this one says non-payment. Did you pay your rent in December?
Yes, ma'am.
What non-payment did you sue her for?
Keila was constantly late with the...
She only lived there for 2 months at the time.
Right, so...
She lived there October, November, and this was filed December 6th. So what non-payment?
She was late with that month's rent.
Just a second. This was filed December 6th.
December 6th, right. Rent is due on the 1st.
Okay. Did you get paid from Section 8?
Yeah, I do believe.
Just a second. So you got paid from Section 8, and at that time, Section 8 was paying the vast majority of it. She was only paying $87. So there had to be another reason that you were moving to evict her, other than this minuscule payment, and it was only the 6th of the month.
It was also about her pit bulls. right? I had asked her when we set up the lease, and I met with her, before she moved in, she told me she had a dog, and I accepted Keela. The only way that I accepted Keela was that if she had a kennel put in the backyard for her 2 pit bulls. I have a grandson.
Was it in the lease?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see the lease? Kevin, would you show this to Miss Bell, please, and ask her if that's her signature and that's the lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you moved in, you knew you had to have a kennel for your 2 pit bulls.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you put it in?
That week.
The week that you moved in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, Your Honor. That didn't happen. She didn't move a kennel into the backyard until April of this year.
Your Honor, I've got a video.
I'd like to take a look
That's
at it.
from April of this year.
Miss Bell, just make sure that what you're showing me is 2 weeks after you moved in. Do you understand?
Okay.
Don't show it to me. Don't show it to me unless the kennel was put in within 2 weeks of your moving in.
Okay, this doesn't have a date, but this is her son attacking me when the kennel was being put in the backyard.
In April.
Just a second. Month and year.
Okay.
Listen to me carefully, Miss Bell.
Okay.
Let's not play with each other. Was the kennel put in April of 2023?
No, ma'am. The kennel was put in October when I moved in.
Okay. And did you purchase the kennel? Did you purchase the kennel?
No, I did, but I bought it from a friend.
Miss Bell, you know we're in trouble here.
I don't have a receipt for it.
This last one was filed in December of 2022, and it alleges violation of the lease. Was the violation of the lease in 2022 that you're referring to the lack of a kennel in the house for the 2 pit bulls?
Yes, ma'am, that's part of it.
Well, the other one is utilities shut off. What does that mean?
So her utilities had gotten shut off. When the gas company came back out to restore service, it done something to my hot water tank, to the hot water tank. She or someone with her lit a self-igniting hot water tank, right, that destroyed the hot water tank in the property. So I then had to shell out
I got a red
almost $900 to replace the hot water tank.
So far, I don't believe that you put in a kennel when you moved in, so she's allowed to file this eviction notice. When was the next one? I want you to understand that I believe that you didn't put in a kennel for the dogs until April of 2023. You hear me?
Keela Bell is accusing her former landlord, Janita Akins, of harassment and filing multiple false evictions. Janita is countersuing Keela for a water heater and property damage.
I want you to understand that I believe that you didn't put in a kennel for the dogs until April of 2023. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Okay. When was the next one?
The next is so many, Your Honor.
Oh, that's okay. I'm telling you, you were still there and you didn't put in a kennel until April of 2023. You were in violation of your lease for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were in violation of your lease for a very long time because I wouldn't like to live next door to you with 2 pit bulls roaming around the backyard.
Right.
Anything else?
Not with the eviction.
Great. So your next cause of action is slander, defamation of character. Tell me what that was.
She made a few Facebook posts using my name.
In what way?
Saying how much I owed in rent, saying that I was unable to pay it. And then there's another one where she said that I tore her house up.
That's what she's counterclaiming for.
Yeah.
So far, none of that is slanderous. Yeah, she lets her animals tear up the property. Miss Bell?
Yes, ma'am.
She says back here in August of this year, she lies about it, but fails to inform the magistrate landlord she lets her animals tear up the property. But does she want repairs done? No. Why, you say? She engineers lies on Facebook to justify her actions and not giving me access to the property so it can look like I'm not doing the repairs.
What she put on Facebook?
Yeah, I know it's what she put on Facebook. Your case is dismissed. All right, so we're finished with you. Money owed for defamation, property damage. How did she damage your property? That's all I'm interested in.
She lit the self-igniting hot water tank.
Okay, what else?
I had the attorney's fees from her.
What attorney's fees?
The attorney's fees about this case. They were $875.
For what?
For
what case are you talking about?
I'm talking about the small claims court case. And we also talked about tennis issues. We talked about, what I would be liable for. She filed an answer.
Right,
for
very,
this
very
case.
nice. It's all very, very nice. You're living someplace else now?
Yes, ma'am.
You have another tenant in the house?
No, ma'am. She hasn't released tenancy from the property, which is why I have to keep putting notices on the door so I can stay legal.
Stop for a second. What do you mean she hasn't released?
She hasn't given me the keys back to the property. She hasn't told me that she was moving from the property. My attorney called and, made contact to ask and had me ask her, and she hasn't moved anything.
You mean she still has property there?
Oh, yes, ma'am. She still has property there.
What does she have?
She has a bed, a dresser.
Just a second. Do you still have any property that you want in the house?
No, ma'am.
You don't?
No.
When you moved out, did you leave things of yours there?
No.
What about a bed?
No.
A dog?
What?
She left the dog there for 10 days with no heat and said that I exposed the dog to 20-degree weather on Facebook. She said that.
Did you leave a dog there?
No, ma'am.
You took a dog with you?
Yes.
Okay, you have any proof?
I have both.
Did she have 3 dogs?
I have 2.
No, did she have 3?
She actually had 9. She had 2 dogs. Those dogs had puppies, and she ran a little farm out of my house.
Listen to me. You both submitted yourself to my jurisdiction.
Yes.
Say nothing. She has now gone from the house. I find that she is acknowledged that she is no longer a tenant of yours.
Cool.
Anything in the house that you do not want to keep that you think was hers, you can dispose of. Sell it, throw it away, change the locks on the door, the tumbler. If she didn't give you the keys back, change the tumbler. I will prepare that order, and I will sign it. And you agree with it, correct?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
She's going to dispose of any property that's there. She's going to change the tumbler this week because he should do that anyway.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
She don't own the house.
I don't care who owns the house. She was your landlord. That's what she says. So if she wants to do that, she can do that. But you have nothing there that you claim is yours anymore, and you are no longer a tenant in that house.
Correct.
So whoever owns the house can get rid of whatever they want, can change the locks on the doors. Do you understand?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Perfect. We're finished. We'll prepare the order for you. Thank you. Bye.
This court is adjourned.
Overall, I think it was fair.
I like Judge Judy. I think that she is fair, which is why I agreed to come.
It was ongoing harassment, the everyday coming home with a paper posted to the door.
I got a 24-hour notice that I put on the door so I could go in and check the heat and discovered that she had left the dog there after she had moved, after she had transferred her utilities.
The only dog that was in the house was her.
She left the dog there 10 days.
My daughter was burned by a stove that was on the property, 3rd-degree burns.
I'm sorry your daughter got hurt, if she got hurt. I wasn't there. I think stoves are usually user-friendly.
She said that she's not on the lease, so she wasn't going to replace it.
The stove was her responsibility.
I will never rent from her again, and hopefully anybody that sees it runs.
I am so elated that she's gone.
I'm just in a better place.
What I would say is, America, don't do drugs.
So I have to tell you one of my pet peeves as both somebody on the bench, but more than that, just a citizen. There is a swath of people who are Americans who live in this country that need assistance, who work, some can't work, but who work and can't quite make it. I can't tell you how it bothers me when somebody has 3 employed adults in their house and applies for and accepted for government-assisted housing. She knew she wasn't entitled to it. You could tell from her look that she knew she wasn't entitled to it. And it's just too bad that the government is so inept that it can't ferret out those people who need and those people who want. Well, there's a big difference. Need and want are 2 different things. It just constantly surprises me the inefficiency of government. And really the way some people will spend more time scheming to get what they're not entitled to than they will spend moving their lives forward in a positive direction.
It is a very tricky system. I've dabbled in just seeing what the process would be like of applying for any sort of government assistance and just to try and understand litigants a bit better who have gone through it. And it's complicated. It's nuanced and complicated and online, and there are multiple forms, and this one has to go before this one. And I feel like if you're able to complete that, you have a skill that could be used in a productive way to make it so that you don't need to figure out that whole scheme.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.tv. Whitney McKibben is suing her former friends, Lily Sparks and Allison Wilkinson, for damages from an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3110, McKibben, Sparks versus Wilkinson.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Miss McKibben, these two young ladies were friends of yours.
Yes, they were.
One of you was celebrating a birthday. Who was that?
That was Allison.
It's my birthday.
What birthday, Allison?
It was my 31st birthday.
And how long have you all been friends?
Lily and I have been friends off and on since the 2nd grade. Allison and I have been friends for almost a decade.
Married, single?
I have a boyfriend, but yes.
Married.
Any kids? You're Lily.
Yeah, 4 children.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm an area manager at a delivery station in Oregon.
Must be busy.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I manage around 100 to 120 people a day.
And what about you, Lily? Do you work outside the home?
Not currently, no.
Not with 4 kids?
Right, yeah. I stay at home. Yeah, they keep
Keeps
me
you
busy.
Allison, what about you?
I work at an oral surgery office. I'm an office manager.
Married, single?
Married, no children.
So you have 3 smart, employed women celebrating a birthday who all had too much to drink.
Unfortunately.
But it resulted in a very unpleasant weekend where you allege that you were assaulted by these 2 women, which required substantial medical treatment for you involving one of your eyes.
Yep.
When was your birthday?
April 24th, but the night of the incident was May 6th, 2023.
And you got an Airbnb?
Yes.
Where? Who arranged it?
Whitney did at Rockaway Beach.
How many women went, Whitney?
It was myself, the 2 on this side, or 3 on this side, and then also another woman named Grace. She's not here today. So I believe there was 5 in total.
And you got there on May 6th?
May 5th we got there,
5th?
Yes.
At what time?
I had arrived to Tillamook in around 12:30. I sat on the beach by myself and waited for the rest of the party.
In what state?
Tillamook, Oregon.
When you went and sat on the beach alone on the 5th, were you drinking?
Nope.
No. What time did your friends arrive?
I believe around 3. Allison and my sister arrived together in the same vehicle.
Who is that? Is that your sister?
Yeah, she is their witness. Lovely.
What's your sister's name?
Her name is Ashley.
Okay, so now tell me what happened. The incident happened on the 5th?
So it happened on the 5th into the 6th. Correct. So we had been drinking.
When did you start drinking?
I believe we started drinking around 4 or 5. We had a few on the beach, and then we went to the Airbnb, which was like a block away. We ended up drinking more in the Airbnb, got...
What were you drinking?
Tequila. Yeah, exactly.
And what about you?
I arrived late, around 7:30. At the time I had arrived, the tequila bottle was already gone. And
so you didn't arrive until 7:30?
That's correct.
By the time 7:30 rolled around, everybody was pretty smashed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So we had been sitting in the hot tub. There was a hot tub there, so we had all just been sitting, talking, having fun. While in the hot tub, there was a discussion to go to a local bar to have another shot of tequila. Don't know why we needed that, but we all agreed that we would do it.
Okay, so you decided to go to a local bar. What time did you leave?
So I didn't actually end up leaving with them. Like I said, we were in the hot tub. We all decided to go to the bar. They had gotten out of the hot tub first to go shower off and get dressed and ready. So I waited till they were out of the shower. I took a shower myself, came out to the living room where they all were standing, Allison, Lily, my sister, and Grace. I had a towel around me, still dripping wet, just got out of the shower. They were all ready to go. They're like, come on, let's leave. I am dripping wet and naked. Like, give me a moment to get dressed. I attempted to look through my bag to get clothing out. Wasn't really able to do that since I was inebriated. I had Grace help me get clothing out. She was actually holding, I don't remember if it was underwear or pants that she was holding for me, but like, you know, like a toddler, like, here, get in. At that point, Allison and Lily started berating me, saying, oh, look how pathetic you are. You can't even dress yourself. You are a child, things like that. So to that point, I got upset. I started yelling hurtful things back at them. Don't remember exactly what I said, but I know that it was enough to make them very upset with me. Ended up getting in a fight. They attacked me. I was held by the throat, and I believe hair was being pulled. It got broken up. I gathered my things. I went to the neighbor's house. Allison, Lily, Grace, and Ashley all went to the local bar. My plan was to sober up at the neighbor's house and leave for the night. I did not want to be there any longer. I did not feel safe.
How did you know the neighbor if this was an Airbnb?
So this was just somebody that was also there. The next door house was an Airbnb as well that was being rented out for the night or the weekend. So the neighbors, when we were in the hot tub, they were outside of their house, like smoking a cigarette or something, and we had an interaction and we were hanging out with them. So that's how I kind of knew them and that they were there. So I just went in and knocked on the door and I said, hey, like my friends and I just got in a fight. I don't feel safe over there. Can I hang out with you guys for a few hours until I'm sober enough to drive myself home? To which they agreed, and we, hung out. About an hour into us hanging out, we heard faint screaming outside of the door, which was Allison, yelling, Whitney, I know you're in there. You need to come out. At first, I told the neighbors, because they asked me, do you want me to open?
These neighbors, men or women?
There were, it could be 2 or 3 men and 1 woman, but they...
How old were the men?
I would say probably in their late 30s.
You didn't know anything about them before this weekend?
I did not. No.
And so you felt comfortable going over drunk to strangers' house?
Yes, I felt more comfortable to
than staying alone in your own Airbnb?
Yes,
okay,
because I felt they were going to come back and hurt me again, so I wanted to remove myself completely from the situation.
Okay, so you went and hung out with these people for about an hour before Ashley came back?
Correct.
Go ahead.
She continued to scream and yell. They finally opened the door, to which she completely changed her composure and was like, Whitney, please come back. You don't know these people. I told her I don't want to come with you because I don't feel safe. And she said, well, you are intoxicated. What if these people do something to you? And I said, yeah, you are right. You're my friend. I'll come with you. But I don't want anything else to happen. Like, we've fought. It's over. I want nothing else to do with it.
When you were at the neighbor's house, did you have anything to drink?
I had water to drink.
Did they have anything to drink?
I believe they were drinking like seltzer water.
Were they smoking anything?
Cigarettes. They had cigarettes.
You know how long they were there for?
Like the weekend, or
yeah.
I believe they said they were there just for 2 days. So I believe it was a Saturday that they were there. So there's Saturday,
2 or 3 men and 1 woman.
Correct.
Know anything about them?
I didn't really gather any information about them, which, yeah, very odd of me to do, but, like I said, I felt safer.
Whatever, I don't care how you felt, you weren't feeling anything.
I was at...
Whitney McKibben claims her former friends, Lily Sparks and Allison Wilkinson, assaulted her, causing permanent eye damage. Lily and Allison say Whitney was the one who started the fight.
Go ahead.
So I walked into the front door with Allison. I remember stating, I really don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then I was attacked again by Lily. I was pulled down to the floor by my hair and was held again by the neck and was repeatedly punched in the face and the head until I lost consciousness. When I came back into consciousness, my sister had told me to run because she had ripped them off of me. I ran back to the neighbor's house. I asked them to call the police. The police came. The police offered to take me.
Police came, you took an ambulance.
Correct.
Okay, let's put a period there for a minute. Okay, Lily, it's 7:30. You arrive at 7:30. They're already out of the hot tub?
Yeah, so when I arrived, they were not in the hot tub. We all decided to go in it together.
Okay, now pick it up from there.
Okay, we went to the hot tub and spent maybe an hour and a half in there, and then we decided to go celebrate Allison's birthday at a local bar. We went inside, we were getting ourselves ready, and she's correct, as we were about to leave, she's standing there naked, there was no towel around her, and she's screaming that she doesn't want to go, she thinks we're all fake friends, and she wasn't very happy with us at that point. And so us 3 went into the car to sit and wait while Grace was trying to calm her down, and then it was taking a while, and so I went back in to try and help, and Whitney started really screaming at me, calling us fake friends, bad moms. And I looked at her and I said, I feel sorry for you, Whitney. And that's when she got extremely mad at me and she lunged at me and tried to fight me. And Grace was in the middle of it. Grace caught a fist in her jaw. And then that's when I think Allison and maybe Ashley at that point, they saw something in the window and they came to help. And Whitney just wasn't stopping. That's when her hair got pulled. All of our hair was being pulled. She was like a pit bull. And finally, we got that to kind of settle down and we left. So we went to the bar at that point, and then I can't tell you exactly what time we returned. I want to say it was before 10 o'clock. It wasn't very late. Ashley looks up Whitney's location. She sees that she's at a stranger's house next door, and we're concerned. And
okay, stop for a moment. Ashley, tell me what happened with your sister. Let's start with this fight that happened when you were all getting ready to go to the bar and your sister came out of the shower.
So she was, wet. No towel, screaming about how she was naked and didn't want to go. She was also screaming at everybody else that they were fake friends and bad moms and all these things. I got sick of it because everybody was yelling at everybody, so I just left.
Now, then you went to the bar together, and then you came back. You tell me, what happened when you came back to the house?
When we came back to the house, I was helping my friend Grace. She was in the bathroom and sick and wasn't
Too much
feeling
to drink.
Yeah, yep, definitely. So I was helping her, and then I heard the second fight break out, and so I went out there and pulled everybody apart from each other and told Whitney to go.
Your sister was injured.
Sent her out and away.
Sent her, where did you send her?
She went to the neighbors.
She went back to the neighbors?
She went back to the neighbors.
And you called the police from the neighbors?
I believe my sister called the police and the neighbors called the police as well.
Tell me why you called the police.
Because I was tired of all of the fighting and they were really hurting each other.
Who started the fight?
I can't tell you who started it because I didn't see who started it, so I don't know.
Aside from your sister, initially, who became aggressive?
Well, I think Lily was angry and Ali was angry, justifiably. I mean, I would be too.
Angry because I didn't want to get more inebriated? Weird.
Okay.
I was perfectly happy to leave you.
You can sit down now for a second. Okay, you want to tell me your version of the events?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. When you drink that much, sometimes you kind of lose the ability to make a good decision. Just kind of escalated, I think, and we were all pretty emotionally charged at that point, just from yelling and it being so loud.
To be frank, I don't think she really remembers.
I have some things that might help you remember if you'd like.
We have the police
Let's go
report
back.
also.
I'd like to see the police report.
It's right here.
And here's also a Facebook post that Allison made the night of while they were sitting at the bar.
The police report said Lily stated that Whitney kept trying to attack her and pulling her hair. You stated you punched her in the face.
Right.
You say prior to that, there was hair pulling. How was that precipitated?
At the time she got hit, Allison and her were in the kitchen, and I was sitting on the couch. And Whitney, something happened in the conversation where she directed her attention to me. She started screaming at me and started approaching me really swiftly, screaming. And I thought she was going to come.
What was she screaming?
I don't know exactly what. She was trying to ask me a question, or she was trying to get my attention or something. And she came very quickly, and I told her to get out of my face twice.
Not what you said.
I said, get out of my face twice. And on that second one, she was like coming at me, and I hit her, and it was a lot of contact.
There was no repeated punching. It was, I think, one single punch.
Were you admitted to the hospital?
I was, yes.
I'd like to see the full hospital report.
From the night of the incident?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, that's all I'm interested in.
I also have an aftercare summary from the Portland emergency room where I went to the next day as well.
I don't care about
You just
that.
want the Tillamook one? Okay.
I want that one.
I believe that's all of it.
I'm looking for the doctor's write-up on you.
The one in Portland where I live.
Madam, I don't care what happened the next day when you were sober. I want to know what the emergency room doctor, how they describe your situation when you arrived. Were you sober? Were you drunk? Were you coherent? Were you incoherent? The next day doesn't help me.
Whitney McKibben is accusing her former friends, Lily Sparks and Allison Wilkinson, of assaulting her during a party. Lily and Allison claim Whitney assaulted them first.
Okay, abrasion of multiple sites, alcohol intoxication, and then you have an orbital flood fracture and ecchymosis of the left eye. Okay, getting back to the police report. Whitney stated they came back from the bar and were knocking on the door of the neighbor's house trying to get her to come back to the house. Whitney stated all she remembers was them beating her up. Whitney mentioned she felt like she was ganged up on. Whitney mentioned she doesn't know exactly what happened, but they got into a fight. I was able to take photographs of the scratches on Whitney's neck, arm, and black eye. Whitney mentioned that she didn't want to press charges because she didn't want to ruin Lily's life. You remember? I can't even say, do you remember saying that to the police because you don't remember?
I also
it says I
had
don't remember 5 times.
I had been struck in the face so many times. I had fainted, actually. So I was checked at the emergency room. I had a CT scan because they felt I might have had a concussion.
Can I ask you a question?
Brain bleed.
Do you, if you remember speaking to the police, do you remember telling them that you pulled somebody's hair out of their head?
I do, yes.
Okay. And was that before or after you got punched?
I believe that would have been during trying to get them off of
No.
No, I was saying while she was punching me, I believe I was pulling their hair to defend myself.
Whose hair was pulled?
All of ours.
No, I have a photo of my hair was pulled.
She was pulling all of her hair, and this is the amount of hair that was swept off the floor.
Anybody want to tell me anything else? I don't have to see the rest of your medical records.
Would you like to see the photos of my many scratches, marks, my eye?
Sure, I'll take a look at them.
Thank you. And if I could mention, she stated she punched me once. That does not look like one punch unless she's the Hulk.
Well, these aren't punches. These are when you're rolling around the ground.
I believe
when
I
you're
was also
fighting.
kicked repeatedly.
Yeah. Terrible. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around 5 young, productive, clearly educated women getting so loaded that there was a brawl. But, Whitney, it's clear that you were the most loaded of all.
I could have been.
I mean, you have a super responsible job. You flee a house drunk and go to a stranger's house where there are 3 men and 1 woman, crazy. Your friends clearly were concerned enough about you. They could have said, listen, let her go stay there. If she gets raped, that's her problem. If she gets beat up, if she gets murdered, they tried to get you to come back. I believe for your own safety and nothing else.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
And you were still severely under the influence of alcohol. And there is no question in my mind that you got the worst of this fight. They may not have been severely injured, but you precipitated this fight. You just got the worst of it.
I don't believe that gives them permission to strike me multiple times.
Oh, it does, actually. Actually, if you precipitate a fight and put your hands on somebody else, grab their hair, they can use whatever, outside of a weapon, it can escalate to the next step. You can't go and get a gun and shoot somebody. But your actions precipitated everything that happened that night because you were too loaded.
I don't disagree, yeah. I don't disagree with you, Judge.
And so what I'm telling you is when you have a fight, a physical fight, no weapons involved, somebody is going to always get a little more hurt than somebody else.
Does that make it right, though?
Does it make it right? No, but it doesn't make it a lawsuit. The case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I don't believe it was right. I was assaulted quite terribly.
I'm really grateful that this is all over with.
I was struck multiple times until I fainted.
It's shocking to hear the lies that she's stating about us, but you know that obviously the judge saw right through them.
We're not friends anymore. Never again. I will never allow those women into my life, especially my sister.
I just wanted to be able to speak to the truth of what happened.
Yeah, no, friends and tequila do not mix.
Don't have a reason, I think, to ever talk to her again.
Well, it's a good lesson about getting too inebriated and then trying to bring a lawsuit afterwards. I think it's tough. I mean, no one deserves to get those sorts of injuries. The photos obviously showed that she was severely injured, but it's not a lawsuit. Like you said, someone in a brawl always ends up getting the brunt of it. And just because you get the brunt of it doesn't mean that you have a viable lawsuit, especially when you were the aggressor.
It's a good lesson, Sarah, but I'm always amazed. These were 5 substantial young women. You know, I like my wine.
Never enough to punch someone in the face.
Never enough to become that aggressive. Most people do not. Even to be in a position as the plaintiff was, where she has a super responsible job, she's in charge of other people, to risk going into a stranger's home where there are 3 unknown men and 1 woman there for the weekend is
just
such
shows
a total
her state
lack,
of mind.
just a lack of good judgment. Frightening. It should be a lesson to everybody. You know, have a limit.
Yeah.
Be able to say no more.
This is it.
Erin Dean is suing her ex-husband, Dennis Dean, for an unpaid car loan and negligence.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3122, Dean versus Dean.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ms. Dean, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for a car that was stolen as a result of his negligence.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's start with, you and Mr. Dean were married for the first time in what month and year?
July of 2013.
You and Mr. Dean were then divorced.
That is correct, Your Honor.
In what year?
December 12th, 2019.
You and Mr. Dean were remarried.
This is correct.
What month and year?
October 1st, 2022.
And you separated again, and that marriage was annulled in what year?
August in 2023.
Now, you purchased a car.
Correct.
In what month and year?
October of 2019.
While you were married?
We were separated at the time. We were not living together.
But you were married?
Correct.
So this automobile was purchased during the course of your first marriage?
That is correct.
Do you have a copy of your divorce decree?
Yes, I do.
And does that divorce decree award you the automobile?
Yes, Your Honor, it does.
I'd like to take a look at it. So you were awarded in the divorce the Jeep Cherokee.
Correct, that is correct.
And then you remarried October of 2022.
That's correct, Your Honor.
The Jeep Cherokee, which is the subject of this case, was stolen on what date?
From what Dennis told me, he realized the car was stolen on December 19th, 2022.
While you were still married.
Correct.
Now, you were remarried in October of 2022.
Yes,
And where did you live?
in Pasadena,
What address?
780.
And you both lived there together?
Yes,
Had you lived there before, during your first marriage?
no,
Had you lived there while you were separated?
yes,
When you remarried and you were living at 780, was the plaintiff living with you?
yes,
So she moved into your residence?
yes,
So far, is that correct, Ms. Dean?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you had no other residence?
No,
So you moved into 780?
that's correct.
Mr. Dean, until what date did Miss Dean live at 780, month and year?
January of 2023.
That is false, Your Honor.
Just, I'm not asking you anything.
Okay.
January of 2023. And what happened in January of 2023, sir?
She moved back east,
East to where?
North Carolina, while we were still married.
Okay. The car was stolen in December.
Yes, December 14th.
December 14th, so several weeks before she left.
Yes,
Tell me the circumstances surrounding the car being stolen. First, she was going back east,
yes,
and she asked you to take her to the airport?
yes,
Just a second. Did you drive her to the airport?
yes, I did.
On what date?
It was a week prior to the car being stolen, which was December 7th, 6th or 7th. She asked me to take her to the
Mr.
airport.
Dean, when you took her to the airport, what car did you take her with?
In a Jeep Cherokee.
Did you have another car?
Yes, I did.
Why did you take the Cherokee?
Because it was big enough to put all her luggage in.
So she asked you to.
Yes.
Now, when you left for the airport, where had Mrs. Dean spent the night before?
At our residence.
At your residence,
Yes.
together?
Yes.
And what was the reason that she was going back east?
To visit her friend in Houston.
Before she went to visit her friend, and you were living together as a married couple.
Yes.
Had she given you, or did you have any indication that she was leaving you?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We had prior disagreements as far as where we wanted to live. She wanted me to move back east. She wanted to have another child, which I didn't feel comfortable with.
Did you have a child together?
No,
Who has children?
we both do.
From prior relationships?
Yes.
Okay. So you had been arguing.
Yes, it was. Oh, okay.
You had been arguing. The night before she left, you were still sharing the same residence.
Yes.
So you took her to the airport in her Jeep.
Yes.
At her request, because it fit all the luggage. And then after you took her to the airport, what did you do with the Jeep?
I parked the Jeep in a gated parking in my residence.
How long was she away?
About a week.
When she was coming home, who picked her up at the airport?
I was supposed to.
And did you pick her up at the airport?
No, I did not, because she says that she wasn't coming back because I had told her about her car being stolen. And then I told her that once I found out that it was stolen, I got a police report done.
So while she was away for that 1 week,
Yes,
her car was stolen.
yes,
And it was stolen from where?
under the gated parking of my residence.
It was in the gated parking?
Yes,
Okay. Do you have a police report?
yes, I do.
I'd like to see it.
Here it is, police report.
Okay. So the car was stolen.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now I got the dates and I got everything. And the car was stolen and?
The car was stolen due to his negligence.
No, you say negligence. The car was stolen out of a gated area. First of all, even if it was stolen as a result of his negligence, you don't get your money.
When he moved my vehicle.
Claims her ex-husband, Dennis Dean, is responsible for car payments after the vehicle was stolen due to his negligence.
Let me ask you this question. I'm going to maybe phrase it differently. My husband is trying to be helpful, and there's a leak in the faucet in our kitchen that has just been redone. And I said, well, I have to call somebody to fix this little leak. It's dripping, and I don't want it to get any worse. And my husband said, you don't have to call anybody. I have my toolkit right here. I'm going to fix it. He's a lawyer. He doesn't know about plumbing. But he goes under the sink, and he jiggles and juggles and turns things, and there's a flood. And it not only floods out the kitchen, but it floods the apartment below. And I say, get out. I don't want to know you anymore. You're always doing things like this. You think my husband's responsible if the house is in my name? Get out of here.
Can I explain my situation and what happened, Your Honor, please?
You can. So now you have about 2 minutes to tell me your theory of the case.
When he did take me to the place, I did tell
Not the place, to the airport.
To the airport. I did tell him not to move my vehicle, not to drive my vehicle. He moved my vehicle because he has an unregistered vehicle that is in the previous divorce decree, and he uses that vehicle. He switches out his Infinity plates to drive that vehicle to and from work. I told him not to move my vehicle because I know he likes to move that car, so the police officers who rides back and forth the street doesn't see it.
True.
And when he moved my vehicle, he left the keys inside my car. My car cannot start without a push start. So he took out the garage opener, and the reason why is because they were doing maintenance work at his apartment complex at the time where the gate was left open overnight. That's how my car got stolen, because the lady who did take my car, she had access to easily get inside of it, and the keys were inside my vehicle to where she was able to steal it.
Think about my husband, who I'm fighting with all the time, fixing the sink and causing a flood in an apartment or a house that is mine. I can't sue him. But it sounds to me, from what you tell me, that you knew he had been playing around with license plates while you were still together. That's what you just told me. That's what he does.
No, that's not true.
Listen to me, sir. It may not be true, but that's what you just told me.
It's in text messages, so that's true.
That's what you just told me.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. You have no case against him. It's unfortunate that your car was stolen, and it was found, I understand?
Yes,
but it was found...
Totaled.
Total, yeah.
Well, that's not his fault. Case is dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I told him not to drive it, not to move my car, because I know that's what he did. He did it anyways. My car got stolen.
I didn't leave the key in the car. Actually, I had put it in my bag and took it upstairs, but she just went with that because that's all she had on.
I just hope that I never have to see him again.
I just want peace and just to be left alone and get back to my regular life.
Can you imagine how the courts would be flooded with lawsuits if married people could sue each other for negligence?
Be more backed up than it is right now?
Oh, it would put a complete stop to the justice system.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't even think that in this case he was negligent. I mean, there was debate as to whether or not he left the keys in the car. That can be viewed as a little bit negligent.
But they were a married couple who cohabited together until a couple of days before the car was stolen. And the place where he lived, evidently, which was under construction, somebody left the gate open. Well, that's the person who she ought to sue for leaving the gate open, which allowed her car to be stolen.
Sure.
Not her husband.
Agreed.
Ridiculous.
Chastity Rubio Cortez is suing her son, Christian Rubio Cortez, for an unpaid car loan, DUI fees, and tires.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3130, Rubio Cortez versus Rubio Cortez.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ms. Cortez, this is your son. How old are you?
19.
What do you do for a living?
Currently unemployed. I kind of just drive around and deliver food.
Who is this?
It's my father.
Your father and mother are no longer together, I assume?
No.
Is he a witness for you or just here for support?
Yes, ma'am. He's my witness.
Okay. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Cortez. Your mother bought a car for your use. In what year?
2022.
So at the time you were 17? Is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the arrangement you had with your mother?
We would buy the car and split it half and half.
Explain that to me. You're going to cut the car in half?
The price was $4,000, so I would pay $2,000 and she would pay $2,000.
Did your mother have her own car?
She did.
So what you're saying is she was going to make a gift to you of the other $2,000?
No, ma'am. She was also going to use the car as well.
But she had her own car?
She did.
What kind of car did she have?
She had a Ford Explorer.
And what kind of car did you buy with your mother?
It's a Honda Civic Coupe.
What year?
2008.
And what year is the Explorer?
2018.
So if I were going to choose a car to drive around, I would choose the Ford Explorer rather than the 10-year-older Honda Civic. That's what I would choose. Take a vote here? Take a vote here? Yeah. Okay. Now, this is what the case is about. Your mother said you still owe money on the car. And your claim to me is you paid for half.
Correct.
And that's all you were supposed to pay for.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a pretty good story. Now, how old were you when you got your first ticket with the car?
17.
What'd you get a ticket for?
I was on my way home from work, and I ended up falling asleep.
Fell asleep at the wheel of the car. What kind of work were you doing?
I was working at a fast food restaurant.
For how many hours?
8 to 10.
What time of the day or night did you fall asleep at the wheel?
I would say 6 p.m.
Did you damage the car?
No, ma'am.
What did you hit?
I just fell asleep.
What do you mean, you fall asleep and the car stopped itself?
I was parked.
Oh, so you were parked and just fell asleep in your car?
I was very tired.
Well, what'd you get a ticket for?
I got a ticket for reckless
Reckless what?
driving.
And did you pay that ticket and get points on your license?
I did.
Anybody help you pay the ticket?
My mom.
How much did she pay?
It was $275.
And that was when you had just gotten the car.
Correct.
Now, when did you get your second ticket?
It was in 2023.
What did you get a ticket for?
I got a DUI.
Did you plead guilty to the DUI?
I did.
How much was the fine for the DUI?
$600.
Who paid that?
My mother.
Well, the $600, now you're over the age of 18. $600 is your punishment for driving while drunk or intoxicated with something else. You wouldn't ask somebody to do your jail time for you. You wouldn't say to my mom, I don't like to be in jail. Could you please go for me? You wouldn't say that to her, right?
No.
Well, the $600 is your penalty for breaking the law. Did you pay your mother back?
Yes, ma'am.
The whole $600?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
That's not correct.
Did he pay you anything towards the $600?
Not towards the $600 yet. He's still paying off the car. He still hasn't paid it off. And the first ticket.
Well, the first ticket was when he was 17 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as I'm concerned, that ticket is on you. Because I wouldn't have let him keep the car for a second after he had the car for a short period of time, drove recklessly, and then fell asleep at the wheel. Somebody had to have reported it for what he said. He was sleeping. Do you understand? Do you know the circumstances of that? Why don't you tell me?
He was coming home from work, and he did end up driving recklessly and kind of hit an embankment, but didn't total the car or anything.
Well, when did he go to sleep?
While he was driving, I guess. I wasn't there.
Well, that's what I asked him. I'm not getting an answer from him.
Yeah. I mean, he got a ticket for reckless driving, and he fell asleep, so...
You mean he fell asleep first?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wasn't following this. That he fell asleep at the wheel.
Yes.
As a result of which he drove recklessly, for which he got a ticket.
Yes.
Because he was still driving or in the car moving when he was stopped by the police.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how much are you supposed to pay on the car per week?
$65.
How much in total did you pay on the car?
It was $2,112.
Just on the car?
Mm-hmm.
And how much did you pay your mother in total?
And then there was another $1,420, and that is for the DUIs and other tickets.
So in total, you're going to show me $35.32 in payments to your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Is that what you have? Okay. Listen to me.
Chastity Rubio Cortez claims her son, Christian Rubio Cortez, owes for an unpaid car loan, DUI fees, and tires.
Now, how much do you have, Miss Cortez, as his total payments to you for everything?
For everything, he has paid on the car $3,235, and he still owes for the DUI fees, the tire rims.
Forget tire rims, forget tires. If you want to pay for his tire rims, that's your business. I don't care if you drive a tire without rims, but nuts and bolts in there. Not when he hasn't paid other tickets. That's on you.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of
the
safety. He paid
$3,235. Well, not so much different. There's a difference in $300. Now, tell me what your father is going to testify to.
He was there during the agreement that we made.
Good. Stand up, sir. Tell me your last name.
Rubio Cortez.
Mr. Cortez, I want you to think back 2 years when your son was 17. Were you and your wife together at that point?
No.
Where were you when you heard the discussion between your former wife and your son?
I was home.
In whose home?
In my home.
Who lives with you?
My other son.
What was your former wife doing there?
No, I just heard.
Look at me.
Yes, ma'am.
You were home. She wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
So you weren't all in the same house together.
No, my other son, he goes and hang out with them. So that's how I was noticed that they was going to buy another car.
So you don't have no personal first-hand knowledge of anything, is that correct?
No much, because
Not much. Well, that was my question.
Yes, ma'am.
I said you have no first-hand personal knowledge of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can sit. What did you think he was going to say? What did you think he was going to say to me? You said he was a witness to the agreement that you made with your mother. How's that?
Because me and my brother have both told him about it. And he was...
Okay, very good. Because you told your father. Was your brother there when you and your mother allegedly made this agreement?
Yes, he switched between houses.
Just a second. Where is your brother now?
Not here.
Where is he?
He's at work or home, I guess.
Okay. And so you mind telling me why you brought your father instead of your brother, who you say actually heard this agreement?
Because he couldn't make it.
He couldn't make it because he was home.
He just told me he couldn't make it.
Just a second. Now, you owe your mother $2,600 for the car. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This court is adjourned.
We agreed to split it, and she expected me to pay more than what we agreed upon.
Well, because he's not taking responsibility of his actions.
And after that, we got into an argument, and ever since then, we just haven't been on good terms.
He's upset with me right now, but I think it will be okay.
Probably not at the moment going to be talking with her that much, but I'm sure I'll be talking to her again soon.
You know, he could not make a contract with his mother when he was 17.
True.
But because he made payments after he was 18, he ratified that contract. The reason that I didn't give her any money for the first ticket was because once he got that first ticket for reckless driving, I would have taken that car away. I wouldn't have kept it in my name. And the kid, clearly, the young man has an ongoing battle with the truth. The father, however,
He was honest.
well, not really.
It almost sounded like he thought he could really be a witness because his other son had told him
You think so?
something.
You believe in humanity, I think, maybe a little more than I do. I think that he just got caught.
That's also possible.
Heather Villanueva is suing business owner Joshua Alvarado for a custom car wrap, an audio system, and ambient lighting.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3154, Villanueva versus
Thank you.
Alvarez.
Ms. Villanueva, you purchased a car for business purposes.
Yes, ma'am.
And you wanted to have the car customized, so you found the defendant and you brought him the car for the purposes of several things. For the purpose of having a glitter wrap
Yes, ma'am.
put on the car, and to upgrade a stereo and mood lighting,
Ambient lighting, yes, ma'am.
all in the hopes of attracting rental business.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car do you drive?
2019 Mercedes-Benz C300.
And the car that you purchased for this business was a 2018.
No, ma'am, it is the 2019 C300 that I purchased.
Well, how are you going to use it for business if it's your only car?
Well, because I wasn't able to post it on Turo, I never went and bought a second vehicle, so I don't have
just a
two
second.
payments.
So what you intended to do was to purchase a second vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In any event, you brought the car to the defendant, and according to your complaint, he did, in fact, put on this wrap.
Yes, ma'am.
But he put it on defectively, and he charged you $3,400?
Yes, ma'am, for the first set.
Did he charge you any other money other
Yes,
than the
ma'am.
$3,400? What did he charge you for?
Another $600 for another roll of material to wrap it a second time.
Okay, so right now, in that, you had a $4,000 investment, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're suing him for $7,500, alleging that everything he did in the car was defective.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First, let's deal with the biggest item, which was the wrap. What color was the car when you got it?
It was called Brilliant Blue.
What was wrong with it?
Nothing, it just wasn't, it was just blue. I wanted the glitter, and that is why I reached out to find somebody that could put the custom glitter wrap on it that I wanted. There was nothing wrong with the paint. It was absolutely immaculate. There was only 9,400 miles on the car when I purchased it.
So now you want the glitter on it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you purchased the glitter wrap yourself?
No, ma'am.
Who did?
He purchased it. Mr. Alvarado purchased everything.
Mr. Alvarado, did you purchase the wrap?
Yes.
The wrap didn't stay on the car.
No.
But you bought the wrap.
Yeah. I went over it with her. And
talk to me about...
Yeah, I went over it with her about what wrap she wanted. It was between a glitter wrap or a chameleon wrap, color shift. I gave her options because I told her from the beginning that this glitter wrap is very cheap. I tried to give her options.
You gave her options?
Give her options.
But one of the options that you gave her was this glitter wrap?
Yes.
Okay, and you purchased it?
I purchased it, yes.
And it came off?
It came off.
And it came off, according to her, almost immediately?
Yeah, about an hour.
And she notified you right away?
Right away.
And so what did you do?
I told her to bring the car back to me, like ASAP, so we can see what we can do to fix it.
And she did?
No.
Within days?
Within days.
And?
And We spoke about pricing, and I told her that in order to fix it, she would have to buy another roll. I would not charge her labor, and I would give her a discount to her man's car because I was supposed to wrap his car too.
In any event, it was going to cost her another roll of wrap.
Yes, $550.
And what happened?
I wrapped the car.
Again?
Again.
So first you have to take off the other
Yes.
wrap.
I removed it completely.
And put on the new wrap.
Put on the new wrap.
When did you do that?
We're talking in weeks.
Okay. So she paid you in full, which was primarily for the wrap, $3,400, plus she spent an additional $550 for a second wrap.
Yes, but she didn't pay me in full. It was first deposit, and then the rest when the whole car, everything was completed.
But she paid you the whole thing.
But she paid me the whole thing,
That's
yeah.
what I said. She paid you the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
Wrapped the car. It took me 3 days to wrap a car, 16-hour days. I actually brought my witness here today, my mom. It was 3 in the morning. She just came back from a trip to the airport. She called me and she asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm wrapping the car right now.
What do I care about this?
I'm just telling you, because...
what does this have to do with the case?
Because my time is precious in, labor.
This is your business.
It's my business, yes.
Your business. The first one was defective. It came off.
Yes.
And it was material that you purchased.
Yes.
And it came off within hours of driving it.
Yes.
So she paid you primarily for that, $3,400, which included the cost of the material, and then she paid an additional $550.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't care what, 3 o'clock, your mother, who cares?
All right.
Who cares? And how did that wrap turn out?
It turned out great.
Shh, just a second.
Heather Villanueva claims business owner Joshua Alvarado owes for a custom car wrap, an audio system, and ambient lighting.
Now, what else did you do for the car, Mr. Alvarado?
I did speakers, audio.
Okay, speakers.
Yep.
Did you purchase speakers?
Yes.
Did she reimburse you, or did you purchase those yourself?
No, I didn't purchase speakers. I purchased an amp because she fried the first one.
You purchased an amp?
Amp, yeah.
I don't understand that. The car came with a radio and a stereo.
It came with a stock radio, yes.
And she wanted an enhanced radio?
Yeah, she wanted to make her sound louder.
And in order to do that, tell me what you have to do.
I had to replace the factory door speakers, and I had to bypass the factory amp inside the car and go with the aftermarket amp.
That was really pretty stupid of you.
Yes, ma'am. In hindsight, it is.
Even to ask for it was pretty ridiculous.
The music just wasn't loud. That's why I asked. I didn't want any extra bass in the trunk. I didn't want my windows to shake. I just wanted more clarity in the music in the car. That's all.
Negative.
Shh, just a second. Also ridiculous.
That may well be. But
yeah,
it was
also ridiculous. Okay. What was wrong with the fixed music?
No music plays from my car. I have tons of text messages where I would send him and say, hey, I have no music. And he would say, turn down your master volume in your amp. I was never able to turn up any maximum volume.
May I see those emails
Yes,
to him with regard to the music?
Yes, ma'am. I also did want to mention when he said that he removed the first wrap entirely, he did not. The roof of my car is still wrapped in the first wrap. The body of my car is wrapped in a second, completely different color wrap. I also have photos of that.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't that what we wanted?
No, sir. I wanted the same color wrap all over my entire car.
Talk to each other.
Show her the picture.
If you want to talk to each other, I'll put you outside. You can do that. What is this hole a picture of?
That's where my hood ornament blew off of my car as soon as I left, and then the wrap started blowing up towards the windshield.
Got it. Okay, so this was the first wrap.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Clearly defective.
Here is a text message where he mentions there's warranty on the audio. If anything happens, I can fix it.
May I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am.
What are these wires here, sir? Can you see this from where you are?
Yeah, that's wires, yeah.
I see they're wires.
Yeah.
From what?
That's for the amp.
That's how my trunk is, ma'am.
Yeah, that's for the amp, yeah.
What does that mean?
It's for an aftermarket amp, for the speakers. The only reason why I left it like that is because we've talked about putting bass in her car.
This is a mess.
Yeah, well, she was supposed to come back in a couple of days and get it fixed.
Can I see those, please? You have a picture of the car now?
There is a current photograph of what the car looks like right now. It's the matte black that's inside of there. It's a front-on photograph.
It was a lovely color blue, right?
That's the car when I purchased it. That's the day I bought it.
And could you tell me why you wanted it this color, which is god ugly?
So the color that I had asked for, actually, this is what I sent him, showing him what I was looking for. These are the chameleon options that I said I didn't want. I just wanted the black glitter. Right here, he's agreeing the black diamond will turn heads.
Is the car currently painted in the color that you wanted.
No, ma'am. That right now is what my car currently looks like. The wrap is lifting, it is peeling, it is bubbling. There are places where it is cracked and completely falling apart.
Okay, now let me ask you a couple of questions about how you found the defendant.
Yes, ma'am. I had put an ad on our local, like a Facebook word of mouth for our local area, asking for recommendations on somebody that could do wrap, audio, and ambient lighting, so I don't just go to one person, all in one shop. And there was several responses telling me to reach out to the defendant, and that I did.
Just curious, several responses from people that you knew?
No, ma'am. It's like a local word of mouth group where you ask people for advice or you ask for recommendations on where people have taken their vehicles or people that they've
Did you
used.
check on any of these people who sent you the defendant's name?
No, ma'am. I didn't research
Just
any
check.
of the people for recommendations, no.
Okay. Now, you would acknowledge that your initial work on the car was defective.
No, not at all. Did she give you a picture of what the car looked like when it left my house?
It could have looked like that, but hours later, the wrap came off.
And then I offered to do it for free again.
Did you understand what I just said?
Yes, I
Pay
did.
careful attention.
All right.
I said you would acknowledge that the initial work you did on the car was defective.
Yes.
And the initial work you did on the car being defective at least cost her the cost of a second roll of wrap of $550.
Yes.
Good. See how far we're getting? Now, the plaintiff says that the second wrap that you did
Yes.
is also coming off.
Yes.
Tell me when she called you and let you know that the second wrap you put on the car was coming off.
September 28th.
And when had you put it on?
I put it on
July 6th.
July 6th.
So what did you tell her?
I didn't tell her anything.
Well, you said you found out on September 28th.
Yes.
How did you find out?
She texted me saying that, and
Oh, okay. So she
Yeah.
communicated with
Yeah,
you
she communicated.
that the second wrap was defective.
Yes.
Well, coming off.
Yes.
And what did you tell her?
I didn't tell her anything.
Why?
I felt like I was being used.
Well, Mr. Alvarado, how could you feel as if you're being used? She spent so far $4,000 to have her car customized. The primary thing that she was doing
Yes.
was changing the color of the car.
Yes.
You did it twice, and twice it was defective.
Yes.
Both times. And
Yes.
she paid you for your labor.
She paid me for my labor.
She paid you for your labor, and she paid for the materials.
Yes.
And right now she has a defective car because it's coming off.
Yes.
Yeah. Who should be responsible for that? Me?
No, I hope not me either, because
Why not? You're the one who did it.
Oh.
Who should be responsible? You think Whitney should be responsible?
No,
How about Sarah? How about
I
Sarah?
did it. I was responsible. I take full responsibility in the beginning. That's why I offered to do the car for free. My brother came down from North Carolina. I had to pay him out of my own pocket to come from North Carolina. My brother, he's been a rapper for 10 years. You know, he's the one that taught me how to rap and do other stuff, and I know that's nothing to do with it.
It
so
doesn't.
he came, and he got his time. We got the car done, and whatever the case is. And then when she came and picked up the car, I told her, you can give me the rest of the money or you can't. That's why I only asked her for a deposit. If she didn't like the car, she wouldn't have left the house with the car. Okay, that's fine. She gave me the money, she left the house with the car.
Heather Villanueva has accused business owner Joshua Alvarado of improperly installing her custom car wrap and audio system. Joshua claims he fixed the car multiple times for free.
You haven't gotten anywhere, sir.
Yeah,
you haven't gotten anywhere.
I'm getting
your
to
mother
it.
Your mother wants to tell you something. She doesn't have the floor yet.
Yeah.
And since I'm old, get to the point.
Okay,
so
get
far,
to the
you're
point.
chatter.
You're right.
She
okay,
paid
so I
you.
told her before I even wrapped the car, the first time I told her to take care of the car. Do not leave the car under the sun. It's a fully wrapped car. Do not drive the car anywhere. You know, she asked me if she can even pressure wash the car. I said, no, we cannot do that. You know, it's a material. You shouldn't be pressure washing anything with a material would come right off. She left the car in the sun. I actually brought some stuff here as evidence to show you that I've, that says that you should not leave a car underneath the sun, especially if it's 99 degrees outside because it is adhesive. And there's sometimes I come to her house and the car is parked outside the front lawn, and I went to her house multiple times to come and fix the car. I fixed parts on her car that were broken. I paid money out of my pocket.
Well, just like, let's go back there. So far, she brought you a car.
Yes.
And she spent $4,000.
$4,000, yes.
And she still has a car that is wrapped defectively where it's peeling off, okay? So I want you to tell me what you did at her house in addition to any of the other work.
Yes.
Tell me.
For example...
Just a second. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, I'm taking a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
The main part of this problem, sir, is a defective job of putting on the wrap.
Yes.
That's your responsibility.
Yes.
Okay? And as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't have said to her, get another roll of wrap. You pay for it. You put it on. It was defective. And if you had to bring your brother, who was an expert in rapping, that is not my problem.
Oh, wait a minute.
That is not my problem.
I didn't ask her from the beginning. It's not my problem. I actually went to war with her with the company, and I fought with the company for the warranty that come in effect.
She came in for a product. You put on the product. The job was defective. She paid you.
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me about the loose wires and the fact that she has no radio. So
I installed aftermarket speakers in the doors. I put an aftermarket amp. Everything was going good. I even played it at my house. I'm actually, I'm an automotive technician. I worked for multiple mechanic shops, multiple audio shops. So that's my field of training and of my profession. I love to install music. So when I install music in her car, I put an amp in her trunk. She was turning the volume all the way up when I told her it's not tuned yet because she wanted to add a 12-inch or 10-inch sub. And we never got around to adding a boombox or whatever, a subwoofer to her cars because, I just, they wanted to get it free off of me. And I told them I can't do that. I told them I don't keep inventory at my house, and you have to order everything in, and then I could do it for you. So they wanted basically everything, the music free, the audio free, and I didn't charge her for none of the audio stuff. That $4,000 is just for the rap material. Everything else is free. The music, the lighting, the Mercedes symbol up front, everything is free. The only thing you're seeing is what she paid for is the rap material.
The $4,000?
Yes.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff, $4,000.
Ma'am.
We're done.
Ma'am, there's so much more. My radio doesn't work. He cut a wire in my car door.
Pay careful attention to me. You paid him $4,000. Did you pay him? Answer my question. Did you pay him more than $4,000?
No, ma'am, I did not. I have to pay to have all of those aluminum wires taken out of my car. I still have no music. He clipped the wire to my back window. Mercedes wants $812 to fix it. He said, don't pay them, I'll fix it.
When you go King Kong on the door panel, of course it's going to rip off. I mean, obviously.
The wire's spliced, ma'am. I have it in writing.
What are you all crazy? Where do you think you are, in a pool hall? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of exactly what she paid him, which includes his labor because it was defective, $4,000. This case is over.
This court is adjourned.
I'm an honest man, and I like to help people as much as I can. I take full responsibility of what I did, and I'm very sorry, but so much I can do. I'm only human, so.
The moment that I got the first critical battery message on my phone, and when he called my partner and told him that this might be a bit more than I can handle.
It gets to a point where when you be used so much that you just like, I gotta let it go and move on, so.
And everywhere we've taken the car, we have been notified like, oh, I know this car because this guy was running around begging people for help.
No, I can't make everybody happy. That's all it is, man.
I don't know what my paint looks like under it, but I do know that my car was gorgeous when I brought it to him, and now it would look better in the bottom of a lake as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not so sure I agree with your ruling on that one.
Okay.
The wrap, 100% defective. He did it once, he did it twice, still defective. We saw photos. He claims it's defective, she claims it's defective, no issue. However, you only granted her the $4,000 that she had paid him in the beginning to do what she thought was an all-in project. He says it was just for the wrap, whatever the case may be. He admitted to replacing the stereo system and the audio. We saw the photos of the wires that look like a complete mess in the trunk of the car. We saw the cut wires of how he had to replace the stereo system. So I don't understand how you can grant her the $4,000 for his defective work, but only for a portion of the work. I understand she never paid more than the $4,000 to him for any of the other work, but he still did it. I would have liked to at least see an estimate of what it would cost to fix all of those problems beyond the $4,000 that she paid, because she's now out of pocket because of his defective behavior that you ruled in favor of his defective behavior.
Reasonable argument.
Yeah, so I just think that she shouldn't be left holding the bag for something that he clearly admitted to doing. I understand that, the wrap is one thing, the other things maybe she didn't pay for, maybe it was in his mind included in the $4,000, whatever it may be. She wouldn't have had those problems.
She told him what she wanted with regard to the music system.
Yes.
That she wanted it out because it should play.
Whatever the case may be, she's now out of pocket to fix all of these issues that she would not have had.
You mean the stereo issue?
Exactly. Had he not been defective in his installation. So I would have considered that.
You would have considered the
additional cost that she has now because of his defective work.
Right.
Yeah. Just a thought.
He wanted to fight me.
Leave her alone.
Okay, so
This is not a so. This is a period.
This is Judy Justice. Haley Chapman is suing her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, for defamation, harassment, and emotional distress.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3022, Chapman versus Bigelow.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
The husband isn't here.
No.
Where is he?
He is currently incarcerated, Your Honor.
Where?
In a state correctional institution in Florida.
When did he go into jail?
He was arrested in September of 2022.
Has he been incarcerated since?
Yes, ma'am.
You have 3 children with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are your children?
I actually have 4 in total. I have a 5-year-old who turns 6 in December. I have a 3-year-old who turns 4 in August, a 2-year-old who turns 3 in August, and a newborn, 2 weeks old, ma'am.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
The only connection that you have with the plaintiff is that you have 1 child with her husband,
Yes,
who is how old?
He's about to be 5 in the end of July.
Now, this is your complaint. Many of these things at least start in 2022, and it is your claim that Ms. Bigelow, who has 1 child with your husband, embarked on a course of conduct that can clearly be described as harassment, defamation, which you're going to present to me, and the allegations were serious enough, and this is back in 2022, I would assume, that you filed an application for a protective order.
It was in 2021 that I had filed the protective order.
What month?
It was, I believe, March.
Did you have a trial on that protective order?
There was no trial. There was enough evidence presented.
No. There was no trial.
No, ma'am.
Were you present when the protective order was granted?
Yes, ma'am.
And you consented to it?
Yes.
Okay. So you consented to the plaintiff having a protective order indicating that for 12 months, and hopefully for the rest of your life, you would not assault, menace, threaten, or harass her.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to what I've read, that was in effect until March of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
While the protective order was in effect, there was a violation of that protective order.
Correct, Your Honor.
What month?
It was in the month of March 15th.
Of 2022 or 2021?
2021, Your Honor.
Was there a hearing on the violation of the protective order?
Yes, there was, and I believe at that time, probation temporarily was given to Ms. Bigelow.
Is that correct, Ms. Bigelow?
Yes, ma'am. Administrative probation.
And all of the events that are the subject of your petition happened between 2021 and 2022.
This has actually been going on far longer than that, and
Have any of the acts that Ms. Bigelow were prevented from doing as a result of the protective order occurred after the protective order expired in March of 2022?
Yes, ma'am, I can provide evidence.
That's what I want to see. So now we have Ms. Bigelow, who is on notice. She consented to a protective order because she knew that the evidence would be clear that you were entitled to it. Otherwise, nobody consents to it. So she consented to that order, which means you either assaulted, menaced, threatened, or harassed her. I assume it was a cause of harassment. Then you violated that order and you got a period of probation. Okay. Now I'm hearing evidence of acts that occurred after the protective order. I'm just hearing it. After the protective order expired in March of 2022.
Yes.
Correct? You want to tell me when the first incident was?
The first incident was when me and my husband, on TikTok, there's an algorithm that shows random videos, and she popped up on his For You page, and it was a post about her mother. And so she was living with her mother at the time, and he sent it to her mother.
Your husband did?
Yes.
I only want to know things that had to do with you.
Okay. So I was arrested after my husband got arrested. They tried to charge me.
Just a second. You were arrested in what month?
It was in October, ma'am.
Of what year?
2022.
You were arrested for what?
They tried to claim that I was trafficking drugs.
That's what your husband is in jail for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did that have to do with her?
It doesn't.
Well, then it doesn't?
Well,
it doesn't?
She had made posts about me going to jail.
Can I see them?
Yes, ma'am.
This doesn't say anything that is defamatory, I want to know what you meant is she's already lost custody of her children enough times. I'm hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters. What is that?
Okay, so Haley Chapman claimed that she had no understanding of the drugs being in the home when she was found guilty.
What is my son's 2 daughters? Do you mean your boyfriend's?
No, her children. She's religiously lost custody of her children.
No. I understand that. I don't understand this sentence. You wrote, she has already lost custody of her children enough times. I am hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters.
Oh, sorry, not daughters, but sisters. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Your Honor,
Just a second. So far, it's not defamatory.
I have my order for reunification. I've only lost my children 1 time.
Doesn't matter. Put a look at it. So far, I don't see anything defamatory. If she wrote that you were arrested and you were arrested, that's not defamatory.
Haley Chapman claims her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, owes for defamation, harassment, and emotional distress. Fallon is countersuing Haley for emotional distress.
Still bragging about it. There's something wrong with you. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand that this is all coming from a very stupid place, a very stupid brain that you have absolutely nothing to do with except that you were mad at this guy, at this prize that's sitting in jail for drugs. And so, yeah, don't tell me that you were trying to be altruistic. I don't believe it.
No, that's not it. Actually, her husband assaulted me. I was a child and he was an adult for 1.5 years of my childhood. My son is a product of rape.
You don't get me. That has nothing to do with her.
She has shown up at my house.
Just a second. That has...
Okay.
Okay, so she sent a picture of your mugshot, which is also not illegal, and said that you were arrested and charged with trafficking in fentanyl, which you were, right? Which you were. Those charges were subsequently dismissed?
No, ma'am. I was granted pretrial diversion because they didn't have the evidence that they needed to actually...
That's not what I asked you. You were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your mugshot. And you were arrested for drugs.
Correct.
So she didn't print anything that wasn't true. You were arrested. I'm not saying that what you did was right. I'm saying what you did was stupid, pointless, and just out of nothing but jealousy. Nothing. She certainly doesn't care about your children. Okay. So far, what you showed me, nasty, but not actionable because it's true. What's next?
I have the TikTok that she posted of her claim that she was sexually assaulted by my husband, which backfired on me as well. I had to shut down.
That's what she says. That has nothing to do with you.
Well, an onslaught of people came and harassed me because of her post.
I don't know that at all. And if they harassed you, that's their problem. But I'll take a look at what you want me to look at. But if she accused your husband of a crime of raping her, and she said it's your bad judgment to be with him, and now I assume you have 4 children with him?
3, Your Honor.
3, and 1 with somebody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds terrific. 20 years old. Sounds like we're going in the right direction here for a joyous life. Oh. What do you do for a living?
I'm a bartender.
How many children do you have?
1.
Who do you live with?
Myself, but I'm currently moving.
Moving where?
South Carolina.
With whom?
My son and I.
Why?
To leave Florida.
Why? Why South Carolina? You just
I want to go to college for underwater welding, and they don't offer that program where I live currently.
Who are you going with?
Just by myself.
Who lives in South Carolina?
Nobody.
Do you have a place to live?
Yes.
Who's paying for it?
Me.
From what?
My job. I've been saving over the last 2 years.
How much money do you have in the bank?
I have $180,000.
Oh. Okay. All nasty, stupid. It's not actionable. What else?
I have here that she told me to hurt myself and that she was going to expose nude photos of me.
I'd like to see that.
I also have here her saying that she wanted to throw bed bugs in my yard and on me.
This is all stupid stuff, but nasty and stupid and vicious. And I must add, illiterate. So I hope you're going to a very good school wherever you're going. First, they should teach you literacy. What's next?
I did suffer chronic post-traumatic stress disorder,
anxiety and depression because of this whole situation.
No, you suffer from anxiety, depression. If you do, because you were 15 years old when you had a baby, and then you had 4 more children, you're 20 years old, and your husband's in jail. That would put any normal person in a situation of depression.
I do have proof, Your Honor.
You don't have proof.
It's from my psychiatrist.
If your psychiatrist was here and you wish to waive it, I'll be more than happy to listen to your psychiatrist. It's what you told your psychiatrist. I'm telling you, I don't have to be a psychiatrist. Somebody who's 20 years old and has 4 children, all under the age of 5, and whose husband is incarcerated for the last year and a half, and has 1 child in between that's not his, that's a reason to be depressed. There's a reason to be depressed. Her nagging you because she's stupid and jealous is nasty, but not anywhere as nasty as your husband getting arrested, going to jail, leaving his 3 children and his wife alone to fend for themselves. And if he was incarcerated for drugs, making them, dealing with them, and you were living together, it's kind of hard for me to imagine that you wouldn't have some suspicion of what he was doing for a living. Do you understand what I mean? That would cause me situational depression. And there is only one way to deal with your situational depression, which is to get your life in order.
Currently, I am a nursing student and I have a year left.
Is it a building that you go to?
Yes, ma'am. I restart in September of this year.
You start, or you started last year?
I started and then I took a break and then I go back in September.
When did you take a break?
From August of last year up until September, this upcoming September.
And now you're going back in September?
Yes.
And what have you been doing in between, aside having a baby?
In between then, I've just been working. I have 2 jobs.
Where are your children?
My children are actually with my friend at the hotel.
All 4 of them?
2 of them, Your Honor.
Where are the rest of them?
One is staying with my mother-in-law, and my son is in summer camp.
Which one is with your mother-in-law?
One of my daughters that I have with my husband.
And how old is the child who's in summer camp?
He's 5.
Is he in sleepaway summer camp?
No.
Well, who does he live with?
He lives with me.
Who's taking care of him now?
Right now, his grandpa.
His grandfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your father?
It is my son's dad's father.
Oh, God.
Haley Chapman has accused her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, of defamation and harassment. Fallon claims Haley falsely called child services, causing her emotional distress.
All right, you have anything else you want to show me so far? There's a bunch of nonsense. It's not
Yes,
nonsense,
ma'am.
it's just very unfortunate.
This is her saying that she wanted to fight me.
I don't care about wanting to fight you. You didn't fight with her, right?
No.
And she didn't come to fight you, and she didn't hit you,
No.
right? All right, we're done. Let's see, money owed for emotional distress caused by leaking photos. All right.
Haley Chapman posted child pornography of me via Facebook.
When?
September of 2018. Also, her and her husband were under investigation for extortion of child pornography, threatening that if I did not fight them, they would release the video of him sexually assaulting me while I was pregnant.
I would like to see where she, not he, where she sent you something that you consider harassment.
Okay, she has shown up to my house on...
No, she, listen to me carefully, she sent you an extortion letter. I want to see where she did, not her husband.
The police took the iPod with the original conversation because it involved child pornography.
If I don't have it, I don't have it.
Okay, that's understandable.
Do you have it? The answer is yes or no.
No, not the original conversation.
Ms. Chapman, I told you my best long and short-term advice to you. You are articulate, nice looking, young, whole life ahead of you. It depends upon where you want to hang your hopes. And if you hang it with somebody who's incarcerated, that's ridiculous. He's not coming out to you anyway. You have a new father for your baby. Do you live with that person? Do you live with that person? Who do you live with?
I live alone. Oh, God. I also have the times that she made fictitious DCF calls against me and messages of her admitting that she called DCF on me because I wouldn't fight her.
Because you wouldn't fight her?
Yes.
I would like to actually take a look at those. Not that you're going to get a penny from her. You understand that?
Yep.
You understand why?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And by the way, you know, I understand that you say that there was an abusive sexual relationship between you and her husband, who is the father of your child.
Yes, ma'am.
You did, in fact, allow him to see the child regularly. Is
No,
that
ma'am.
No?
No.
You mean he's never seen his
Never.
son?
Actually, no, incorrect. When my son was first born, he was 6 hours late. He came in, he said hello. And other than that, he was not permitted to be around the child.
So he never came to your house and never saw him from the time the child was born until the time he went into jail. Is that correct?
The only time that he did see my son was when she came to my house in June of 2022, when he was parked outside the house and my son had come outside. Other than that, he has not been around my child.
Yeah, well, you're Haley on this, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. She's angry at you, right? She's angry at you because you won't stop. You keep posting stuff about her, about her husband, about the kids, whatever. It's all because...
There were multiple reasons as to why I was upset with her. There were on 3 different occasions when the restraining order was put in place, claiming that I violated when I did not. I was only
Just a second.
Okay.
There was a final order of protection and a finding that you violated that final order of protection, and all this stuff was harassing, nasty, unfortunately, not defamatory, but clearly annoying. And she finally said, I've had enough. You have no case. You have no case, and you're just lucky I'm not awarding her any money because nothing that you posted about her was not true. She was, in fact, arrested. I assume that you were, in fact, a minor when you became pregnant and the father of your child was an adult. I assume all those things are true. Listen to me. If you saved $180,000, which is a lot of money to be able to save over a couple of years bartending, which is to your credit, and if what you're going to do is try to start a new life, good for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good for you. Put your time to better use. Leave her alone. She's got enough troubles just negotiating life at age 20 with 4 children. Leave her alone.
Okay, so...
This is not a so. This is a period. The end. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
I believe that she gave me some really good life advice and was able to hopefully open the defendant's eyes as to the problems that she's been causing.
She threatened me, threatened my friends, made fictitious DCF reports against me.
Things just mellow out and she decides not to...
Time to get out of Florida.
...defame me or harass me anymore.
That case reminded me of my family court days, Sarah. Here's this guy who was an adult. She was 15 when her first child was born, 14 when she got pregnant. And I don't understand why that guy's not in jail.
For something other than drugs.
For something other than drugs. Except she probably...
He married her and then had 3 more children.
I'm not sure when he married her, but in between there, in the beginning, he had a child with the defendant. And I think that the plaintiff and defendant sort of knew each other. But there are now 5 children, all with mothers, single mothers, who are unsettled. And there's no question. One's living with a grandparent, one's staying here, one back with a friend in a hotel room. It's just so sad for these children. I don't know how to convince generations of young people that you're not supposed to have children, that you're not emotionally and financially and equipped to take care of. Just do that.
And it makes every step of her getting her life back on track at 20 as a child herself all the more difficult with 4 kids in tow. So not only, you know, how sad it is for the children, but she's a child herself that should be able to get her life back on track.
It would be wonderful. She, you know, both seem to be articulate people. Of course, they can't write, but maybe it's just the way they write when they write text.
Twitter fingers, you know.
Yeah, Twitter, but it looks illiterate to me. Maybe I'm just from the wrong generation.
The zombies are coming.